once it starts, pause the or mute the YouTube feed. But at least then I can look at the comments. You'll have to excuse the airplanes going every now and then for a little bit.
Greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, Robert Meyer Burnett. I invite you to watch and listen to the Designing Hollywood podcast, brought to you by Martika Ibarra and the great, legendary Hollywood costume designer, Marilyn Vance. I am afforded the wonderful opportunity of co-hosting the show. If you are interested in the magic of Hollywood, the design of Hollywood, the clothes of Hollywood, watch the Designing Hollywood podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts from, or find the video version on the John Campea YouTube channel. That's right, the Designing Hollywood podcast. Why would you ever want to miss it? Especially if you love the movies.
Hello, and welcome to Midnight Metal. Robert Meyer Burnett and Dave Parker, they're fucking metal. Midnight Metal, Midnight Metal, Midnight Metal.
Well, greetings. Wait, nobody cares. Nobody cares because it's Midnight Metal. And guess what? The man who started it with me is back. You know you've missed him. He's been all over the world making movies. He's got stories to tell. He's the most metal man I know, outside of Dieter Bastian, but he's still a metal man. You know him, you love him, you've missed him. It is Mr. Dave Parker. Dave!
Rob!
Welcome back to the show, bro!
Fucking Merry fucking Christmas. Happy fucking holidays, everyone. It's great to be back.
It's great to be back, Dave. Are you feeling metal tonight, man? Remember?
Dude, I'm always feeling metal, but I'm especially metal tonight for everyone. I'm so excited that I'm here. Everyone's here. They're happy. This is fucking great, man.
You're looking great. You look svelte. You look powerful. You look fit. Woo! Yeah, buddy. And you've directed another movie. You actually had two movies come out, or you directed one, but you had a movie come out in 2023, right? Your Dr. Terror came out? Or was that 2022?
Which one?
Dr. Terror. Wasn't it Dr. Terror?
Dr. Death. That came out.
Dr. Death.
Dr. Death came out the year before.
But you had a movie come out in 2022. You directed a movie in 2023. My God, man, that's what is more metal than that?
The fucking world is gonna end, man. I'm telling you. They let me back behind the director's chair.
My God,
crazy. It's crazy.
That is some crazy shit. You know that means we've known each other for another year. Do you know what 2024 is? 2024 is the 25th anniversary of Free Enterprise.
Oh, that's right.
I don't know if we're going to be able to get access to it and get it out into the world again, but who knows?
I believe.
I believe that you
will.
So tell us about your 2023, Dave. Was it metal? I mean, it was kind of a crazy year for a lot of people.
It was crazy. And, usually, things like, it was funny because the last time they had a strike, we went and made a movie. We went and made Hills Run Red.
It's true. That's right. In 2008.
Yeah. And so that didn't really affect us.
No. But we went to Bulgaria, dude.
And we did. We went to Bulgaria. And then, usually because a lot of the times people know that I edit on reality shows like The Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch.
That's kind of metal.
That it kind of is, and it kind of isn't, but it's cool. It's great. It's a good team. It's a good job. I like it. But the strikes, the combined strikes and everything, usually it doesn't affect reality TV that much, but this year it actually did. So there was a time where it was very, very slow. And I was like going, oh fuck, what am I gonna do? And that was going through the summer.
Or as Sergeant Apone would say, well, I don't know. What are you going to do?
Exactly. Well, that was the thing. So it kind of went through the summer, and I wasn't working really. I was just working on a couple things. I worked on my friend Buzz Wallach. He did an anthology movie that's playing festivals right now called Tenants, which is an anthology movie. So I helped with the editing on that a little bit, and that was kind of it. And I was like, oh man. And then and September was going on, and I'm doing what people are. We're furiously calling people, going, anything coming up, anything going on, and nothing. It was like, well, because there was one show that usually I go back on, which is a Jack Osborne paranormal show, but Jack Osborne's also SAG.
Right.
So that didn't get picked up. So I was like sitting there going, oh boy. And then out of the blue, I get this call. It's like this company, Mar Vista Entertainment.
That Gary and Edmund have worked for.
Right. They were like, well, we have this kind of horror movie that we're doing in Sardinia, Italy. And then they wanted to meet with me on it. So we met, talked about it and everything. And then it was a go. So it was like in 2 weeks, it was like work on rewriting the script with a writer. And then it was off to Sardinia to start prep. So I was there in Sardinia late September through basically the end of October, doing this vampire movie, which was, it was really interesting, Rob. Because you've kind of done this, and it's more probably the relatable part is probably more on the behind the scenes stuff that we used to do together, where it was an assignment. It was like, this isn't a passion project or anything like that. It's just an assignment.
Right.
Not that you don't put your all into it or passion about it, but it's not something that I created or I came up with the idea. I worked on the script with the writer a little bit and gave ideas and stuff, but it was really kind of creatively at the beginning, sort of hands off. So in some ways it was a lot less. I mean, it was still stressful. Making any movie is, it was like no matter what, but it was a lot less stressful, and I could go on this adventure to a place that I'd never been to, which, as you know, because you afforded me this early on when we went to New Zealand, place I've never gone to before, just to embrace the culture, the people, work with this all Italian crew, and I'm making kind of an Italian horror movie. And the funny thing is, I'm like teaching them about Italian horror and Mario Bava and Dario Argento and Sergio Martino and Fulci and pulling stuff, little nods here and there from them, and infusing in that. And it was such a fun experience, man. It was so good. The crew was happy. I mean, it was work. It was hard. It was very different too, because, and this is something that I know I'm rambling really fast, but
no, it's fine.
This is something that I really liked. Italian hours are shooting hours. The day is only 9 hours. Where here it's 12, and sometimes you go over. There it's 9 hours. We went over a couple days, but only an hour. And then Saturdays it's only 6 hours. So it's sort of Clint Eastwood hours. So it was really interesting. It made certain days very difficult to pull off. But then you get to go home, you get to relax, you get to go out to dinner, and then you get to prep your next day. So in that sense, it was like, this is actually really nice. You can get a decent, night's sleep if you plan everything well. Again, it's like going from summer, late summer in Los Angeles to the Mediterranean, which is back to, 82 degrees and warm and sweating balls and stuff like that through October. And yeah, it was just it was a really great experience. The movies, again, knowing what the movie that you're making is, and just sort of embracing that, knowing that it's you're not making Terrifier, you're not making like the next thing, which some people would be like, well, you're hacking it out. Fuck that. You're not hacking it out. But you're trying to infuse it with some stuff. But bottom line is, it's really kind of a horror movie. I say that it's horror light, and it's really for people who don't watch a lot of horror movies. So,
well, I mean, the thing is,
it's
not.
good.
Yeah, I mean, and you're honing your craft. Someone else is paying you to do what you love.
Yeah,
and part of, I think, one of the things I think that you and I have had, that even people that have made big movies haven't. Like when we went and worked on Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe in New Zealand. You're in New Zealand. You're in country we were there totally 14 months. Dave Scout joined us. You were there.
I was there for 6 months.
Yeah, you were there for 6
personally.
So you're living in 6 months. You were in Bulgaria for 4 months. You had to prep.
Yeah.
And we go to these foreign countries and we're paid to live and work there. And there's not a better thing in the world.
I mean, that's the thing. When you're not at the funny thing is, so many of the movies that you end up talking about during the week, and you rarely do, the smallest budgeted movie that you probably rarely talk about, like on the Campia show and stuff like that, is maybe $5 to $15 million. Right. I mean, it's still
like a Blumhouse movie or
it's
something.
Still kind of a studio level movie and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And while this is like a small studio, this is a small company, but I mean, it's a Fox company now, Mar Vista.
Right.
So it's really interesting because, but it's, but again, at least it's a decent amount of money in days, whereas say Puppet Master Dr. Death was, like 6 days and no money, like really no money. So at least here we had like really cool locations. We had some production value. We got to do some things. And again, I think that's going to be, the star of the movie, is just this sort of exotic location. And it was just, it was, but 100% it was getting to practice your craft. It's not, you don't have $150 million on the line. You don't have to have this huge opening, or else the company's losing money.
Right.
So,
totally.
And the pressure's a little less on the kind of company side of it, because they're like, well, he's making his days, it's looking good, we're happy, it's not like a complete disaster. The actors are good, even though they're unknown right now.
Right.
So yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, this is really nice. And I didn't tell a lot of people that I was going to do this. I didn't
know.
I wanted to go. I told people I was going home to visit my family.
Yeah, that you told me that.
Yeah, because what I wanted to do was, so many times the people here in town and everything, they start going, oh, well, what's he doing, and this and that and everything else. And they start talking and stuff. And then, then you get the text and questions. I just wanted to work in a bubble. And it was really nice.
Sure.
There were a couple times where it was difficult, where it's like, oh, luckily I had a couple people who were like a lifeline that I could talk to from the States and everything when I got done. A tough day or something like that. But for the most part, it was good. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. That was great. And then what was really cool for me is right after when we got done, then I went to Switzerland and I visited with CK Smile.
Oh yeah, who's been on the show before from Chaosium, band Chaosium.
Yeah. So got to see where he lives and get a little taste of Switzerland, which was amazing. Really loved it.
I was there for 2 weeks over Christmas about like 15 years ago.
I don't know if I'd want to be. Christmas might be a little cold and icy.
Well, we went skiing. We
Yeah,
were up
well,
and we were in Davos.
so that's, but again, so I need to go back because most of it, what I saw is I saw Geneva and then I saw Lausanne, where he lives, the city where he lives, which is about like a 45-minute train ride from Geneva.
Right.
But it was really cool. It was great to see him. It was great to be in Switzerland. I really liked that. I really liked that a lot. And it was just kind of very cool. So yeah. And then came back, and immediately when I landed, I got COVID and got sick.
Yeah, I had it. I mean, but it's still great that you get to, we've had a lot of, it's very funny. Like somebody wrote to me on Twitter today or yesterday. They said that I was just, those guys that spin signs outside of like fast food restaurants.
Oh
like
yeah.
Somebody said I was just I was a wannabe filmmaker and a guy that really was just spinning a sign on the internet. Somebody said this to me yesterday, and what's really interesting is what it's hard for people to understand that the first movie I ever worked on was in 1989, which by the way is screening at the New Beverly on January 15th.
That was and that was something that I don't know if you've talked. I think you have. We talked about it the day it happened, but our friend Jeff Burr passed away while I was over in Italy, which was, I mean, he gave you your start.
Yeah.
He gave me my first job in this industry.
And when I was making Free Enterprise, he randomly was walking on Hollywood Boulevard when we were shooting outside the Galaxy Theater.
Yeah.
And he just randomly and watched me direct. And, he was somebody that, the funny thing is once you work on movies in Hollywood, for the most part, the people that you meet, especially the horror community, you sort of enter into a club that you never leave. And you're kind of friends with these people for, like, I met Dave Scow, on Leatherface. He wrote Leatherface. Of course, he came in and we brought him in and he wrote The Hills Run Red.
But that was after we had known him for 10 years or more.
Well, that was longer because I met Dave in 89. And what's really interesting is once I met him, I lived in Los Feliz. And so did he. So we would go to the House of Pies and we'd have like lunch with Frank Darabont and stuff.
Yeah.
And
the funny thing is, I met Dave in '89.
Wow. So we met the same, and
it was after they were shooting. I think it was after you guys were done shooting Leatherface.
Yeah. Well, it was funny. So this guy, like, I don't care if people. I have thick skin. You can't be on the internet and not have a thick skin. But it's hard for me to explain. Like a lot of people. Am I Stanley Kubrick or John Carpenter or David Cronenberg? No, but
the thing is, I think the problem is, and it's the one thing that film schools never teach you either. You get to be you're an impressionable kid and stuff like that, and you fall in love with movies and you fall in love with these filmmakers and everything. But it was also a different time when they rose to power,
right,
and prominence. And the thing is, but they well, Hollywood certainly doesn't tell you is like, well, there's your 1 to 5% at most that become that.
Yeah, if that. Well, yeah. And what I've said is that, like, I've had a lot of fun, traveling around and like going to Hills. I mean, Hills Run Red was a Warner Brothers movie.
Yeah.
Joel Silver was our executive producer. Lethal Weapon, Die Hard, Predator, and we got to go to a foreign country and make a movie with Bill Sadler. And it's starring as Wilson Wyler Kincannon
and other actors who have now gone on to
Janet Montgomery, a huge TV career. What's funny?
Right, Joe, who played Babyface. I mean, he's been on Spartacus. He was Bruce Campbell's stunt double for Ash versus Evil Dead, the entire series. I mean, he was in a pirate. He was in Pirates of the Caribbean. He's been in so many things now.
Yeah, but it's fun to do this and like it's to have that kind of a career. And it's funny because even when COVID hit, when everything was locking down, Scream Factory wanted to know if we could do anything for the Hills Run Red Blu-ray.
That's the thing. We finished our interviews for the new material 2 days before the lockdown, and it's funny now because it's so long. It's so long ago. It's over 3 years ago now, and we're still talking I mean, yeah, it's funny that we're still talking about COVID and the pandemic, and I get it; it's all very serious and stuff like that. But it's so funny that we now our barometer, our timeline barometer for things is pre-COVID, post-COVID,
Totally.
this big thing, and it's like, well, now for the most part, it's the flu. It's a flu, and again, it's serious and everything, and it kicked my ass. This time, the second time I had it, it was not fun, but
No.
thank God now we have things like here's your prescription of the week, Paxlovid.
Yeah, Paxlovid's the way to go.
Thank God I got that early enough, and that really knocked it, because it was a rough couple days at first. It was like, oh shit, but I was also dealing with exhaustion from the movie and the trip and everything else.
Yeah. But it was what I was gonna say is that, you know, we've constantly been working on something. And we do have a body of work that we leave behind us, whether it was our DVD work. It's so funny to think about, like, that industry's gone. I mean, there's still people that are making special features, but working at the studio level with the kind of budgets, that business has gone away.
Which is
sad, but
it's very sad, because, you know, they're still making like amazing movies that I would like to know a lot more about.
I know. And the studios just won't. We had such great funding, but it was I mean, like, I was traveling. It's funny because when I it's been so long now. Like, I remember when I was doing X2, I was going back and forth to the set of X2. You know,
right? Why we were working on X1,
and there I was just hanging out, and I would ask Brian, "Hey, can we shoot this thing? Can we shoot like an intro for X1 in the middle of a shooting day?" I'm here. I am underneath the Cerebro set, which was up in the air, you know, and I'm like, "Hey, dude, can you come over here and we can shoot this thing?" And it's hard to explain to people that, especially now that being on YouTube and stuff, being on the John Campea show, like. You know, John Campea makes fun of physical media, and he kind of knows that I've done all this stuff. But we were like, I worked on Lord of the Rings. you know, and it's wild.
There was a point where it was Charlie de Lauzirika, it was Laurent Bozero. I don't remember, and it was the Michael Pellerin. You kind of were like the big four.
Yeah, you were part of that, because, you know.
But you guys were the head of it, so you were like Metallica, Anthrax, Slayer, and Megadeth. You were the big four, you know, of that world.
It was a wild time, and it went away. I mean, and now what's really interesting is you watch all these people have come in. The industry is, I think, having a real problem because there's nobody that loves movies that is running the business anymore. I mean, even back then, there were people at the studios that really loved movies. All the people that ran the DVD divisions are gone.
Right.
You know, all those people are out, and you see the boutique, like the boutique companies, and what, dude, I got the other day, this is so funny. So Kino Lorber sends me discs, and normally they have the same size package, and normally they'll be like, you know, 5 or 6 discs. There'll be 5 or 6 discs, but they sent me, for whatever reason, someone made a mistake, and they sent me only individual discs in individual packages, and I got 12 discs, you know. But there was such a, like, I got Face Off in 4K.
Did you get Clive Barker's Underworld?
I did in 4K.
Damn it, I hear that's terrible, and yeah, I have never seen it. I
have never seen it. It's called Transmorphigration.
It was Transmutations here when it was released by Charlie Band's Empire Pictures.
Right, that's what I thought. It was an Empire picture, but was it an acquisition?
It was that and Rawhead Rex were acquisitions that Empire got.
Okay, so that came out, beautiful packaging, reversible cover sleeves.
Yeah,
and it's part of that movie is part of their Kino cult label.
Yeah, right.
You know, which they're putting out all kinds of crazy shit, and
which is cool because Kino really is doing some great stuff.
Well, they put out. I mean, Kino put out last year The Usual Suspects with our documentaries that had never been out in HD before. Not that they're in HD because we didn't have HD back then.
But I still got to get that one.
But it's a fantastic disc. Somebody did an extra interview with Tom Siegel that's on there, but all of our old stuff's on there, and it's really interesting to look at. I mean, we did that disc in 2001.
Yeah,
you know, and it's 22 years later, and our Valley Girl disc. Did you see the two? I have it over. Oh, it's right here. I can read it. So look at this. This is the British release of Valley Girl.
Wow, and all our shit's on there.
All of our stuff's on here. Now check this out, dude. Let me go full frame on this one.
Yeah.
So this came out from Eureka. Oops. There's your name, buddy. There's your name. So this comes out. Look at this. It's a box set. It's got one of those, and this is painted artwork. It has the disc with all of our special features. Plus,
that's so great. Except we don't get a bump. Yeah, we don't get a bump for when they port our features over.
No, but remember, our special features that we worked on slavishly with Greg Carson from MGM were unavailable for 20 years.
I know, which is cool until Scream Factory brought them back, which was nice, which was really nice.
They brought them back too. So it's interesting. So this guy, to bring it back home, this dude is like criticizing me for like, you wish you had a career. I'm like, bro, I might not have been making. Would I have liked to have made $100 million movies? Sure.
But do you really? I mean, here's the thing. You say that, and I said that too. I've said, I want to, oh man, just let me make studio features and stuff. But then, you know, we've been lucky enough to know filmmakers who are making movies on the massive level. And we've seen firsthand those filmmakers make those movies.
Yeah, well, look at one of our...
I don't know if I could handle that's so much pressure that I don't know if I want that.
Well, and it's no guarantee. Like this weekend proves the point. Like one of our friends, person I really admire, James Wan. You know, right. James Wan has started the Insidious franchise, the Saw franchise, the Conjuring franchise. His Fast and the Furious movie he directed made $1.5 billion. His Aquaman movie made $1 billion. And yet this weekend, he makes another Aquaman movie. You think everything, and the movie was a difficult slog all the way through it, delayed a year, multiple reshoots, and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I mean, and James Wan is an incredibly talented filmmaker.
Yeah.
And yet, I mean, he probably he was hospitalized when he was working on this movie. Probably not, they're not related, but I mean, still.
I mean, who knows? I mean, that I can't speak to, but you know, the thing is, it's like, you know, yeah, I mean, it's got to be a hard, disappointing weekend for him. But again, you know, but there's been months where, you know, he doesn't exist in a bubble either, where I'm sure one, James is going to be fine. Yeah, of course. But two, so much stuff was happening behind the scenes that people aren't privy to.
Right.
That it's like,
well, the studio changed hands.
If we could see the writing on the wall, I'm sure he was well aware of the fact that, you know, this might not go as well as he hoped. And obviously you always hope for a surprise and stuff like that. But again, you know, there's a lot of people involved in these movies. And that's why I say it's, you know, it's like, you know, it's these are tough things to make.
Oh yeah.
And maybe, you know, and I'm sure the first one was incredibly tough too. But the thing is, I think with the first one, they're like, you know, what is Aquaman and stuff, and they sort of trust. And then when superhero fatigue, if that's a real thing, and I don't know if it's a real thing or it's just that the movies haven't been as capturing the imagination as much now. I don't know. People want stories, I think, more than spectacle. Spectacle always helps to give it an environment, stuff like that. But people want stories.
I totally agree.
They want character and story. It always comes down to character and story.
Well, okay, Dave. Let me ask you this. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So as we launch into 2024, we have a lot of things facing. I mean, I think it's safe to say that you and I both love movies.
Oh,
Movies
yeah.
to me were the great art form of the 20th century. It's the best way to tell stories that humanity has ever come up with. But
Now in the 21st century, sorry to interrupt. I would say that and video games.
well,
Video
that's
games,
okay. That's
video
I
games
would.
are definitely taken on another level too.
Yeah, I was gonna. That's where I was gonna go with this.
All right.
Now we have, with the thing about video games is you're your own you're your own protagonist, and with AI you'll be able to make yourself. You'll be able to insert yourself into your favorite movies or do whatever you want. But video game storytelling, in my mind, I mean, look, one of the most exciting trailers I saw this year was the trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6. You know, going back to
Right.
Vice City and all of that, but and you buy a great video game. We had Baldur's Gate 3 come out this year.
Right. I mean, the one that I've been playing is God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah, God of War. I mean, all these things are incredibly satisfying, and I really think that a whole generation of people that are younger than us, I think movies, in terms of where they lived for us, have been supplanted by video games and also self-generated media, whether it's TikTok, whether it's YouTube, whether it's a different world. I don't see kids today or younger people today. They like movies, certainly, but they're not slavishly devoted to filmmakers and the kinds of movies that were coming out when we were growing up. It's a different world. And we didn't have media that we could make. I mean, what I find interesting is, like, this year we saw Talk to Me come out. And the thing about Talk to Me is it was made by two brothers who cut their teeth making videos for TikTok and YouTube, and they worked their way up and until they made a feature. So, and I would have thought there would be a lot more. A person who watches this channel got really angry with me when I asked the question. I said, where are all the new filmmakers? You know, we're all carrying around 4K cameras in our pockets. Why aren't we seeing 1,000 new movies every year being made by people on? We're still seeing a lot of movies getting made.
But the thing is, they are coming out. It's just a Talk to Me is an exception.
Well,
It's a
yeah,
rare-
because it's still it's really hard to make movie. But what I mean is, why isn't there a bunch of self-distributed features that people are just uploading to YouTube of feature films or Vimeo or whatever?
You know why? Because the thing is, if you know this too, it's the business part of it. It's like, it's very difficult to, you spend money to make something.
Of course, but it's
even
cheaper.
Even a DIY thing, it's cheaper than ever to do it and stuff. And you'll get some really great innovators who are going to, I think, do it. But I think, it's weird because we're in a pocket of time now where celebrity and everything else is like, people are now aspiring to be influencers, and that's been a couple of years now, and TikTok stars and stuff, because the money there is so much better.
Oh, I mean, dude, I never thought
movies.
I never thought. Do you know that April of 2024 will mark my 9th year anniversary on YouTube?
Well, I just found out, today, because I'm an old fuck. And I'm still on Facebook, that today was the 5th anniversary of when we did our first Burnettwork podcast talking about The Hills Run Red at your old place in Pasadena.
That's insane. I did not know that.
It was 5 years ago to the day. I mean, it's crazy to think that one of the things that's interesting about YouTube is there is a level of money involved, obviously, that whether it's ad generated or whether it's people support your channel. But it's like what's really interesting to me is I never would have thought that this would be the case, that this show Robservations is now 5 years old. Right. Or pardon me, Midnight Metal, but Robservations is 5 years old. I did my 913th episode of Robservations, which is astonishing to me. And it's funny because a lot of your professional income now comes from being on YouTube. Not all of it.
Not all of it,
but so it's been a drastic shift. And circling back to the guy who said you're just kind of a poser,
right?
Wannabe filmmaker and everything else. It's like, one, that person doesn't realize how difficult it is now. One, most places want IPs, and they want valuable IPs. It's not that. Look, you can't. even if you make a great short film, it's still hard to get in there. It's like
Oh, yeah.
I made a movie for Warner Brothers and no agent wanted to touch me because it was like, yeah, because it was in this weird limbo of like, well, it's a very small movie, fine. It was for Joel Silver and Dark Castle, but it was a small movie. And, what do we do with this guy? Because we're, agents, they're looking to make money. They want people
Dude,
who are going to go to this next level and everything. So you have to scramble and look. There are, you look at my catalog of stuff, which is fine. I'm gaining experience and everything. But things like, Puppet Master, Dr. Death, not the greatest thing in the world. These things, there are things that are out of your control, but it was more like, well, yeah, but I want to do this again. So I'm going to take now. It's like the attitude is sort of shifted. It's like, I'm going to take the opportunities as they come and make the most out of them that I can. And
100%.
sometimes it's like, fuck,
Well,
there's only so much you can do, and hopefully you can get better and better, and maybe it can grow. But the other thing is we have to be realistic. Our age and everything else, it's like studios aren't looking at us.
no.
So,
Well, that's but
we still love this stuff. So it's kind of like, well, we got to find a way to continue to do this because this is this addiction that we have.
But I would say that I just finished producing the proof of concept for this audio drama,
which is really exciting because, man, I listened to those on Audible, the full cast and effects and everything, and they've done them for like some really cool things, and they've done a lot of original stuff. That stuff's really exciting in an entirely different way, and in some ways way more challenging because you have no visuals to depend on.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I mean it is really interesting. It was really interesting to work on something like that because I didn't know how to do it. I'd never done it before, and I took it upon myself as as it was a challenge. I'm like, can I do this? Do I know how to direct an audio drama? Do I know how to edit an audio drama? And the answer was no. I didn't, but I knew, the process. I've certainly learned the process of
how to tell a story.
Yeah, absolutely. And
the thing is, as like any good producer, you rely on people who know more than you to make you look good.
Yeah. And as a matter of fact, I have a little bit of it. And so no one has really heard this. I'll play it tonight on Midnight Metal. I want to play it. So if you have headphones on,
exclusive.
So now let me explain what this is. So Max Allan Collins, who wrote the graphic novel that is Road to Perdition, he took over writing the Dick Tracy strip from Chester Gould, the creator. He took over Mickey Spillane's Mike Hammer series.
Hey, look, Max Allan Collins is a legend.
He's a legend. He wrote Batman comics. So Max Allan Collins has written 19 books about a character named Nathan Heller. As a matter of fact, the last Nathan Heller book came out. Here it is. It came out in October. Too Many Bullets. By the way, you know who's a character in this movie or in this book? John Frankenheimer. Because it's set in the 60s.
Way.
Yeah,
that's really cool. And what a title! Too Many Bullets. Is there such a thing as Too Many Bullets? Really?
No. So here's the thing. So Nathan Heller was a Chicago PD officer in the early 30s, and then he became Private Eye to the Stars. And the book series goes from the early 30s to the late 60s, and it goes through all of Nathan Heller's life. So here's the crazy thing. You think YouTube doesn't amount to much? Max Allan Collins was a fan of Let's Get Physical Media, my physical media show that I do with Dieter on Sundays.
And Dieter's on right now.
Oh, he is. So he was a big fan of Dieter and I, and contacted me through Mike Bodden. I didn't even know him. This was in August, and we just started shooting the shit. And I started talking to him about doing an audio drama. We were going to do Mike Hammer, but Skydance is making a big Mike Hammer movie that Max Allan Collins is executive producing. So we settled on Nathan Heller. Yeah, we settled on Nathan Heller, and we were going to just crowdfund it and see how it goes. And I said, because I learned from another crowdfunding campaign I was involved with, I said we have to do we have to do proof of concept. We can't just crowdfund and say we want to raise money for this. We have to have people hear what it is that they want to do, or what they would crowdfund. So here's another interesting thing. Obviously, I was a big proponent of Picard season 3, and I had met Terry Metalis, who produced it, and I also met actor Todd Stashwick, who is a big nerd. And Todd Stashwick was Captain Liam Shaw in Picard season 3, and I called him up. I said, you're from Chicago. I would love it if you would come on board, so to speak, and play this character. We want you to be a producer on the series. We paid him some money because he's SAG. Everybody's going to be a SAG actor. David Starzyk is in this. So we're going to crowdfund this in the new year. But here's a taste of what I've been working on for the last 3 months. And we took Stashwick to Chicago and filmed him telling us about his life so we could put it in the crowdfunding campaign. But so this is the original audio drama. Now, this is just a taste of what it's going to be like with Todd Stashwick playing Nathan Heller. And you'll hear David Starzyk as a pickpocket. And I will play it for you right now. So here you go.
Go full screen for this. Yeah.
Well, it's no, dude. It's
no. You go full screen while it plays.
Oh well, here we can't talk over it.
Right. We're gonna be quiet. I'm gonna mute.
Imagination Connoisseurs Unlimited, in association with Max Allan Collins, author of Road to Perdition, brings you True Noir, the Nathan Heller Casebooks, starring Todd Stashwick in the award-winning saga of Nathan Heller and his rise from the Chicago PD to notoriety as Private Eye to the Stars. We begin at Chicago's LaSalle Street Station on March 3rd, 1932.
Your attention, please. Final boarding for the 515 to Malene. Final boarding for the 515 to Malene.
Lindbergh baby kidnapped! Read all about it! Lindbergh baby snatched from crib!
Why would someone do this to Charles Lindbergh? Oh, that poor baby.
I was in plain clothes, perched on the spare seat of a shoeshine stand behind the sports section pretending to read. The customer next to me really was reading his Trib, which reminded its readers that a few years back Charles Lindbergh had flown the Spear to St. Louis on a daring transatlantic flight. A photo showed Lucky Lindy with President Hoover, another with his pretty young wife in happier times.
Good evening, Father.
But I was more interested in the priest who was going left down the platform and the businessman coming up the right.
Forgive me, my son.
If that's your job, Father.
Excuse me, Father.
Yes.
Hey, what's the idea?
Is your wallet?
That's my wallet.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Why don't you do something, Avery?
Hey, don't miss your train. Stop your rubbernecking. This is just pickpocket detail. You people move it along. Not worth missing your train over.
Jesus Christ, my teeth are loose. What'd you hit me so hard for?
Stop having a face that looks like it wants a punch.
Nice to see you, Nate. Just my goddamn luck. You know, I'm here because I thought you was working over Dearborn Station.
I missed you, Angie.
Oh, and I missed you too.
You should have stayed on the east side. All right, let's start sharing of the green then, shall we?
You got $50 maybe.
Okay. Whoa, looks like your train's here, Father. Unless you prefer lockup. Ugh.
Excuse me.
Whoa, a babe with a baby. You see how that happened?
Eyes on the Lord there, Father.
Eyes always on the Lord, my son.
The wanted circular in my pocket had a mugshot that looked a lot like that blonde mommy. Only she used to be a brunette. I saw her slip inside the station and wheel her buggy into the ladies' room. When she exited, the buggy got left behind, but the bundled baby was in her arms.
I'm going to leave it there because it goes on. But you can see
that's beautiful. I mean, it's exactly what it needs to do. It's immersive.
Yeah, and if you listen to it, by the way, that's a 2-channel mix. We mix it in 5.1, and then what we're going to do eventually is mix it in Dolby Atmos. And so that's just I'll tell you something. You'll find this really interesting. So the problem that I found directing this, there's a shootout in this sequence. Now, it's one thing when you read on the script, there's a shootout in a room. But when you're mixing it, it's only sound. You have to figure out, okay, well, where are they sitting in the room? Like, you actually have to know the geography of the room and what's going on, because the sound is all around you. It's totally surrounds. So when the bullets start flying, are they flying from left to right or right to left? And when they hit, where's the door in relation? And you really have to think. And I didn't realize when I first started editing this, I'm like, I had to like draw pictures and go, okay, they have to be here, because I was working with Mike at Private Island Audio, and I had to tell him, he's like, what's going on? And where, like, when the trains come in on the station and she walks in here, and like when goes outside, you hear the traffic of the front of LaSalle Street Station, and it was crazy. And it was wild, because you realize when you're making a movie and mixing it, you're mixing to picture. There's no, when you're looking at a picture, you know what sounds have to go into the ambient tracks. You know if cars are going by, you have to put car bys or splashes or whatever the hell. But when you don't have that and you just have dialogue, it was really an interesting thing to do.
Yeah, because you are creating a movie in the mind.
Yeah. And it was interesting, because it was not something that I had any... I'd never done before. So it was definitely something that was new to me, but it worked out well.
Yeah, no, it sounds great. I can't wait to listen to the whole thing. It's I mean, that's it's a full production, man.
It really was.
That's the thing. So it's exciting. Why aren't you on screen though?
Why aren't I on screen? Would you like me to put myself back on the screen? I can't. I'll put myself back on the screen, but we have a guest, and I'm in the process of putting her on screen too. But now, yes, I'm back on the screen, so I will continue to do what I was doing.
So much to talk about.
We do have, and this lovely lady, I've missed her.
I know. I pulled her in for this. I'm so excited, because I haven't seen her in forever either.
I know. Well, now I have to give her due. So I have to make her shot look good and add her to the. I have to put a border around her. And now here's somebody. She's actually, what's interesting about her is she. Her name, Connie Sang. She comes from a music background. She's worked for big music companies putting on shows and things like that. I met her because of the John Campea show. She worked at JBL and would call us, like when John had his meltdown on camera and destroyed his headphones. It was Connie who came like a white knight, the white knight that she is, and saved him. You know?
I brought my JBL headphones that Connie sent me very generously. I use all her stuff. Like in the background, I've got the speakers that she gave me. I use all the time and stuff. But I brought those headphones with me to Italy and used them on set.
Well, she actually gave me. There's a pair of wireless headphones that I have when I go out walking.
Oh, I the earbuds. I had those with me.
Oh, yeah.
I had everything with me.
And
you got the surround. You got the 7.1 surround.
Well,
thing.
Connie hooked me up, and we raffled it off.
I know
we raffled, but we're talking about her like she's not here. But
she's
she
here.
Is here.
Hi.
How are you?
Are you okay?
Oh,
we can
man.
hear you. Okay, it's
you.
so good to see you.
It's like I'm so close to Dave's face.
Just how you want it to be.
We're actually so close in proximity too. It's weird that I haven't seen you in a year.
I know.
It's so weird.
I've been out.
There
you go.
There you go. And Let me. I'm going to put a little thing on you so people know who you are.
A thing on me?
A thing on you. I
This
know
is not the right
it's a
start.
terrible thing to say.
I was only joining so I could see both your faces.
How have you
Is
been?
that it? How have you been?
Yeah, I don't want to be on camera.
Yes,
I'm
you
good.
do.
I've been great. I had a big accomplishment this year. I built my own PC.
Okay,
Wow.
I wanted. Okay, now I wanted to ask you about that. That is pretty fucking huge.
Yeah. Yes.
So tell us about that. First of all, you're like the only other person I know, like Henry Cavill famously built his own PC, and women say it makes their ovaries explode knowing he could do something like that. So how did you, first of all, why did you decide to build your own PC?
Well, I started gaming on my Mac years ago, like in 6th grade. I used to play like Myst and 7th Guest and Leisure Suit Larry. I don't even know why
You
my
were
mom
playing
bought
Leisure
that.
Suit.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yes, it was one of my favorite games. The last one they had, it was like Leisure Suit Larry 9. They had a scratch and sniff card.
Of course they did.
Because it was like on a yacht.
Oh, that's why.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
But then I turned into more of a console gamer, and then I stopped for a while because, I was traveling for work so much. Then I started focusing more on mobile gaming. And then when I was at JBL, I actually had a couple friends that were big into gaming, and they had talked me into getting a gaming laptop, just something, easy. So I got that for myself for my birthday in 2021. And it was great. I had no complaints. But then these friends, okay, so now you've dipped your toes into PC gaming, and maybe now you should build your own. Why would I build my own? I have the laptop. It works fine. And after a couple years, I finally decided. We built a whole list together on PC part list, and I wasn't going to get anything this year. I was just going to maybe buy one item a month or something like that. But I kept looking at this list for months, and then one day I just bought everything.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I decide to do something, I just go for it. So
how long did that take you?
So it took me about 18 hours.
To build the whole thing?
Yeah, and
How long did it take you to acquire all the parts?
Oh, well, I got most everything on Amazon, so within 2 days. But it was like once you get started, you just can't stop because you have all these parts out in the open, and but I honestly didn't think it was going to turn on because at one point the processor chip fell, and of course it landed on the metal part of my coffee table, and I just kept thinking I should just buy another one now so I can have this by Monday. And my friend said, oh, don't worry, just keep finishing the build and then see if it turns on. If it doesn't turn on, then it's broken. It's just the idea of having to build all the parts and plug in all the cables, and all the cables are so little, and you don't know if you've bent a pin. You just kind of have to turn on the button and hope that it turns on. And luckily it did. And it turned on an hour before I was due for my own birthday dinner.
Wow. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, it was a great birthday.
Well, that's good. That's good. Now, let me ask you this. What was the first game you played on your new home-built computer?
Oh, actually, it was Baldur's Gate 3.
Nice. Did you get Did you get all sexy with that game, or what?
I did. I
Yeah.
did. It was.
Did you get all dirty?
Well,
Can you
I mean,
get dirty with the game.
there's
Yes.
only so many options, but I tried to get as dirty as I could.
Nice. Okay. Good. Good. Yes, in
And
Baldur's Gate, Dave, you can get dirty.
Yeah, there's a lot of surprises too.
I'm missing so much.
Like you're roaming around, you decide to open a shed, and you see this little man like bending over this massive orc doggy style.
Wow.
And then they go and attack you because they got caught.
Wow.
Connie, do you have something to drink?
Oh, I do.
Do you have an alcoholic beverage? Well, Thomas Logan sends in a super chat. Look, I've got this. It's a Knob Creek old. I'm really addicted to these. They're really good.
Oh,
it's a
you've gotten lazy. You can't even
mixed
pour it right
drinks?
now.
No,
mixed now.
it's a mix, but this is pretty good. So
Rob's into the knob.
Well, what can I say? Occasionally, why not?
Hey, it's only 2024 if you can't be now.
That's right. Cheers, Connie, who's been on the show before. Cheers, Dave.
Guys,
Cheers to all of you watching out there.
Everyone.
First of all, we got some big luminaries coming on this show later too.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm here.
Because you're fucking cool and metal.
I've always had a massive crush on you and wanted to see you again. Come on, we have Hellraiser to get. Did you tell me you got the 4K Hellraiser set?
No, I didn't because I built a PC, man. It's like a lot of money.
I did get the.
It's really great.
I know.
It's beautiful. You know.
I know.
I had to get it. You told me about it. I was like, fuck. I should get this.
I mean, I already have. Maybe I'll give Connie my Scarlet.
No, because there's extras on the Scarlet box that are
I
not
know.
on the 4K.
It's okay.
Yeah, but the thing is, as a display piece, Connie loves Pinhead.
Just give her the box. The box.
Usually it's the reverse. Oh wait. Sorry. What did I say?
It's okay. I don't need display.
All right, fine. You don't want the Scarlet box. I'll keep it.
Speaking of boxes, I told Rob this day, I got this. Dieter will be happy. Another company that's doing amazing extras still. Little deep red in 4K today. Found this. $15, Dieter. $15.
As Dieter would say, that's a Schnäppchen.
That's a Schnäppchen?
Yeah, a Schnäppchen is a bargain. It's a bargain. It's when you find a Schnäppchen is a bargain.
Ooh, and I got the Warriors coming.
Dude.
Not here.
Okay, dude.
Not here yet.
The Warriors is actually one of my favorite movies of all time. I'll just come out and say it. I love that film. So Arrow's 4K release of The Warriors was one of my most eagerly awaited discs of the year. I've owned The Warriors on VHS, on Laserdisc, on DVD, on Blu-ray, that horrible director's cut, and now on 4K. And I have to say that it's the Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos transfer, it's jaw-dropping. I mean, when you first put it on, you'll see how grainy the Paramount logo is. Doesn't matter.
But that's because of
the time.
Right.
I mean, you know, dude, it is so good. It is so good, and Arrow did such a great job. This is my favorite part. It comes with stickers of all the gang logos.
Right. I saw that.
And I want to get like an old Peachy, you know, the Peachy with the you know what we had when we were growing up.
You want a Trapper Keeper?
No, Trapper Keepers came later. I want the Peachy. The yellow with sports guys on it or whatever. I want that.
Oh.
And I want to remember those, yes. And I want to stick my Warriors gang stickers on the Peachy cover. I want to stick my Warriors on a Peachy. Come on, dude.
It's starting, man.
Yes.
I'm telling you. How much we had to drink? Not much.
Every time I'm on.
More than you. Yeah. Connie's our great mediator.
Well, we're not going to go there. We're not going to get to the point where Connie's...
No, we don't have 8 hours tonight. I still have to go back and game.
I just got to say, fuck you.
Yeah, Connie's had to sit between us when we're like melting down.
Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm.
And she put up with us. She put up with us. Thank you, Connie. By the way, I have to say, my new obsession for 2024 is an audio obsession. And so there's a music producer named Bob Clearmountain. Who has been remixing albums into Dolby Atmos.
I know.
And
I had Atmos, so I could listen to them. I would get these things.
Dude, so the things that I got most recently, I got Soft Cell's Nonstop Erotic Cabaret. Talk about knobs. This is it might be one of the gayest, but one of the most awesome albums from the early '80s. This has like Sex Dwarf, and it has Where Did Your Love Go, and this is remixed in Dolby Atmos. If you love this album, and I love this album, it's incredible. And one of my favorite audio producers is Trevor Horn, who has the label ZTT, Zang Tum Tum, and he put out Frankie Goes to Hollywood, and he put out bands like Propaganda and The Act, and they just released this. It's an album of covers, but this is astonishing. Like you have Yes's Owner of a Lonely Heart that Trevor Horn produced, but sung by Rick Astley. Now, I know that sounds crazy. This disc, I put this on, I was blown away. You can hear these songs, by the way, on Spotify, but not in Dolby Atmos. These discs in Dolby Atmos and 5.1, and by the way, Mark Allman, the lead singer of Soft Cell, sings Love is a Battlefield on this album. I mean, it's I can't tell you.
Well,
And guess what else they put out on in Dolby Atmos? 32
Duran,
years later.
Bonds Macabre.
No, Prince. Well, yes, and I have that too. The new Duran Duran album as well. So now I have to find if anyone has a line on where I can get X Propaganda. It's sold out, and I'm obsessed with this. And I need the new Tears for Fears record. So if anyone can find Tears for Fears, the Super Deluxe Edition, or the Super Deluxe Edition of X Propaganda, hook a brother up. That's all I can say.
No, I'm curious, Rob. How do you, because you don't have a proper, like, real Dolby Atmos setup.
I do.
Place.
I do.
Wait,
yeah. So
in the theater,
in the home theater room, yes, the home theater.
You have speakers in the ceilings now and everything.
I have Klipsch Dolby Atmos speakers, and the Dolby Atmos are upward firing at the ceiling. So I've got
it's so funny because it's like my brother, who has nothing to do with the entertainment industry or anything like that, has a theater setup to shame me. He's got, like, literally, he has the speakers properly put in the ceilings now and everything else.
Yeah, no, I'm very happy. I just need a bigger screen, and I think I'm going to build a project. We just have a small room. I think, Connie, have you seen since I set up no, I don't think you've been here since I set up the new system.
No.
It's killer. I mean, it's killer. I know, you got to come over. You guys got to come over.
I helped him move.
Yeah, she helped me move.
Yeah, you're nice. I was at that point. I was like, nah,
fuck that guy.
Fuck that.
It was too far. No, Connie.
I ain't moving nothing.
You want a puppy, Connie?
No, you asked me already. I don't.
Sure?
I enjoy being completely alone.
Oh, you're kind of emo. I want to be alone.
I want to be alone.
But I like it. I like it. It suits you.
It's great.
By the way, there's been some super chats.
You got more tattoos.
Oh, I have. Yeah.
I got one.
Look at that.
You got my.
I don't know.
Ribeye. My ribeye.
Wait, I can't.
Your ribeye steak.
And my sushi.
I got one for. I got one.
Then
are you just trying to make yourself that much more delicious?
And I have some swords from Final Fantasy 15.
Nice.
Wait, how do I show?
That's cool.
It's the thing is, the experience, like I was saying, the experience on the movie was so good. When I went to Switzerland, I found a tattoo place, and this girl, and I was like, "Look, I just made a movie that had a vampire but had a spider slant to it." So she helped me design this thing, and it was like, so I got that while I was in Switzerland.
Looks great.
Let me rifle through some chats. First of all, Sam Kostelik just became a member of the channel. We had a great member call today, by the way, on the channel.
Woo!
My favorite kinky sphincter, my favorite kind of sphincter, has been a member for 36 months. So thank you, Kinky Sphincter. Thomas Logan says, Dave Parker, you've been missed. Nobody meshes better with R&B than you. I sincerely hope you can make time for this again on a weekly basis. The Post-Geek Singularity needs DP.
Well, it definitely needs some DP.
I mean, what's not to love?
Basis, I don't know, maybe. Who knows? Maybe it's all a new year. Maybe this is the restart of something beautiful.
It could very well be.
Look, I missed it. It's fun. It's the fact that we're starting earlier. I think maybe better for everyone.
Yeah.
But sometimes sometimes life gets in the way. It's tough and everything else. But I do miss it. I do miss doing the show. I just have to, I just got to work on the part where my liver doesn't, cash out on me.
Well, to be honest, I mean, I've kind of stopped. I mean, I'm drinking now.
Yeah, you stopped.
I did.
I'm not as wise as you.
No,
You
but
can just pour yourself some tea in your glass and no one would know.
Yeah, no one know. It's true.
I would know.
No,
but the thing is, I need a little lubricant to do this. I'm not as comfortable.
That's what she said.
I'm not as comfortable on
as Connie said, it's rough. Oh wait, what? What am I talking about?
It should be smooth, velvety smooth.
It's rough.
Well, sometimes you want it rough.
Wet platinum. Anyway, just saying.
Hey, let's get back on track though.
It is a good lubricant. I'm just saying. So hang on. So
it's only been 20 minutes.
So
we'll let Rob lead
so
the charge.
Kenneth Colton, who's been a member of the channel for a year, says, "Hey Rob, welcome back, Mr. Parker. I might be sick with COVID, but there's no way I'm missing out on midnight metal." Yes,
Dude,
Kenneth. Having COVID is metal. It's metal. Fucking metal.
I'm watching this show, putting up with us. That's metal. That's metal.
By the way, it's not midnight here, but it's midnight on the East Coast, and our great moderator, Tom Jr. Jackson, it is his 49th birthday today.
You are a youngin', sir.
Let's drink to Tom Jr. Let's drink to Tom Jr. Jackson. Tom, here's to you.
You're gonna
the man who coined the phrase "we're all goof people."
Cocktail.
Tom Jr. Jackson says, "Merry Christmas, Rob and Diamond Dave. Enjoy your holiday, and today I celebrate my birthday. I'm the big 49, and I feel 25 with a 15-year-old sense of humor." That's a good thing, but a 15-year-old sense of humor can get you into trouble these days.
My sense of humor is probably 12 still.
It's puerile. Video Hunter D. I love the word puerile. It's a great word. Video Hunter D sends in a super chat and says, "Great to see you three together again." I love that. That's great.
I know.
Just never in person together.
I know. We got to do that.
No, that's true.
Hunter Becknell sends in a $10 super chat. It says, "Cheers, lady and gentlemen," or he says, "Ladies and gentlemen." By the way, people are like the same thing, super chats, and then also the tip link is in the description. I never say that. I never say like, subscribe. I never do those kinds of things, but do that.
Make Rob some more money.
Smash the like button. Why do they say smash? Like you're clicking a mouse.
How many puppies do you have right now?
Okay, we only have 2 left.
I got 2 puppies to feed.
Dude, look at that. By the way, Dave, can you do this? Can you do this?
Oh my God! Is that a thing?
It's part of the new. It's part of the new software. Didn't I?
Really?
Oh, you can't. You have to have it on your software.
Oh, it doesn't. Oops.
And so look at this. If you do the devil horns, let's see what happens.
Nothing.
No. Something is supposed to happen. Why is? Oh, maybe you have to do double. Do you have to do double?
Whoa.
That's the most metal. Hey,
how it's metal. And look, if you put your thumbs down, look what happens. Watch this. This is kind of sad, to be honest. It rains. I don't know why Mac made that as part of their new system software, but it never ceases to amaze me. Darth Plato, our friend Darth Plato, who's actually the official historian. Yes, this YouTube channel has an official historian. Is Darth Plato. He's been a member for 36 months. And Ricky B has been a member for 35 months. Thank you, Ricky B. And then Thomas Logan asked questions. Oh, he says, have the 3 of you seen Maestro, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Killers of the Flower Moon, The Holdovers, Who Wins for Best Actor, Cooper, Cillian Murphy, or Paul Giamatti?
I watched Oppenheimer.
Cillian Murphy.
I cried.
I got to tell you, I'm obsessed with Oppenheimer.
But here's the thing.
I bought it on 4K Blu-ray.
And you didn't buy the Hell Priest?
Dude, Oppenheimer was cheaper.
It's true.
Spent nearly $3,000 on my PC, guys. Come on.
Okay, that's a flex.
Well, I did it because I'm future-proofing. I know I don't have to do upgrades for the next 5 years at least.
Wow. Okay.
I'll say Cillian Murphy, but the other thing is I haven't seen any of those other ones yet.
Yeah, me neither.
The other films, but for me, the best actor of the year is Godzilla.
You'll get no argument from me.
Godzilla -1 was
-1
going to church. It was.
And now we're going to get Godzilla -1 minus color.
I don't care about minus color. I want to see the color. That's not a gimmick that I need to tie it into the original movie or anything like that. It's just that's probably my favorite movie of the year over all. And again, there's a lot that I haven't seen yet, but seeing that in IMAX was a religious experience. It was so great.
Did you go to the? Were you at the Chinese when we went and saw Godzilla Final Wars?
Yeah. No, not Final Wars. When we went and I was at the Chinese when you, me, John Schnepp, Charlie.
Right. That was
went to
2014. So one of the greatest movie-going experiences of my life was when Godzilla Final Wars, which was the last Godzilla Man in a Suit movie from Toho, I think Shin Godzilla was then the last. I mean, it was like 10 years or something.
Yeah, it was definitely a while. Yeah.
So it was at the Chinese, and the cast of Godzilla Final Wars comes in, like all the women were in traditional kimonos.
Right.
And they were taking this very seriously. It's the Chinese theater. The audience, it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. The audience was screaming. Like, it was all a bunch of dudes that were a bunch of fucked up nerds, and we're just like, fuck yeah. It was hilarious, and I think that you could see I was sitting very close to the cast, the Japanese cast, and I kept looking over, and they were all like, psst, psst. They're like, "Are we okay?" You could see like they were nervous from the response.
The reaction, yeah.
Yeah, it was so hilarious. And when the movie was over, I mean, Godzilla Final Wars is not a great movie.
It's a silly movie.
It's a silly movie, but it does bring back the controller from Godzilla versus the Astro Monster, and it does. My favorite thing in any Godzilla movie, maybe, when Man in Suit Godzilla fights CGI iguana Roland Emmerich Godzilla in Sydney, Australia. And when Godzilla, the real Godzilla, makes mincemeat of him, you see the controllers. Yeah, the controllers screaming, "I knew that salmon eating iguana was not good for anything." And it was the greatest thing in the world. And so when the movie was over, the whole audience was like, screaming and yelling, and these Japanese actors are, I'm sure, trying to figure out what is up with these Americans. But they all went down to the front of the Chinese theater, and people, you might as well have been at a Metallica or a Kiss concert. People were screaming, and the audience, the poor Japanese actors, like, well, I guess they liked it. It was so. But this movie was legitimately. I mean, I'll say, people are like, well, it's the best Godzilla movie since the original. I'm like, no. It's the best Godzilla movie ever.
There's been great Godzilla movies. But I love this movie. I love Doherty's movie. I think that's there's so much about Godzilla King of Monsters, what Doherty did, that I love.
Dude,
so
I love Godzilla King of the Monsters. I love what Mike Doherty did.
Is 3 for 3 for me. I mean, Krampus speaking of Christmas, Krampus is an annual watch every year. I love that movie. I love what he did with Godzilla. I can't wait till he makes another movie. He's so like Doherty makes the movies that I wish I could make. Nowadays, it's so good. But I think everyone agrees, and it's like that's why I would love to see some sort of Academy recognition for this Godzilla movie. It deserves it.
Well, I don't
Because-
think Japan even entered it as their for best international film. I don't think they.
Even if it's not, it should be effects. It should be something.
Dude,
Score-
well, did it
score
make the
was
short
so
list?
good.
I have to tell
I
you.
don't know. I see. I don't. You pay attention to this stuff. I don't.
I
pay
would.
attention.
I don't know if it's made the short list for effects. I would absolutely give it effects, hands down.
It's just, it's like there's a place for the American Godzilla movies and the Godzilla versus Kong movies, which are all very silly and everything, and you have to sort of like, but it was like, it was so nice to see again what we were talking about earlier, story and character apart from Godzilla. But then when you get Godzilla into it, you're just like, oh my god, this is like another, it's just another level. And it's again, the last time Godzilla was like kind of brutal and scary was GMK.
Well, yeah, that's true.
I love that movie.
You know what? I love Godzilla GMK, All Out Monsters Attack. It's great. But I also have to give it up for Shin Godzilla because I think Shin Godzilla is really good too. It's not.
It is. It's so. But it was to me. It was so different, and it was so much more about the reaction of the people. Again, story and character, but the people. To me, that one didn't have enough Godzilla action into it,
Right.
And I didn't quite love the design. This one, the Godzilla being in the story and the design, the look of him. And
yeah, dude,
that was so great.
Well, it was funny because
and it's so inspirational because the movie didn't cost $200 million.
No, and the director directed Returner, and
Right.
I bought Returner. I want to say when I was in Australia working on Superman Returns. I think that's when I bought it.
Mm-hmm.
And he also directed the live action Star Blazers movie, Space Battleship Yamato, which is not great, but the effects are great, and there's a lot about it that I like. By the way, I didn't get through, but can I? So Poor Things I think is amazing. Killers of the Flower Moon is definitely an accomplishment, but I didn't love it as much as I wanted to. And The Holdovers I thought was great.
I'm waiting because unfortunately I just haven't gotten to the theater to like see these movies, and to be honest, certain movies like Killers of the Flower Moon, the 3-hour plus running time sitting there on my, it's like I kind of just, I know it's wrong, I know it's blasphemous, but it's like these things are Napoleon the same way. They're coming on to Apple and these things relatively soon. Saltburn's on Prime now, which I'm really looking forward to. So I'm kind of like, all right, I'm gonna watch these things, but I just want to wait. It's maybe it's a sad.
I understand
state of affairs, but I've also been like doing my day job and doing post on the movie as well. So it's my time has been like limited too. So I just haven't been able to like see some of this stuff. I'm sure they're great films.
I think Cillian Murphy's going to win best.
Maestro, I'm definitely going to watch. Like,
I haven't. I think Cillian Murphy though. I'm obsessed with him in Oppenheimer. I'm just obsessed with Oppenheimer. I mean, you know what's interesting? There's a scene. I keep watching this scene when Matt Damon and Oppenheimer are first. Matt Damon, I forget his character's name, but they're talking about they have to build a city and all that. It's basically two pieces of coverage. There's not wides and singles. This just happens. It's wides and singles. It's just two pieces of coverage. And he doesn't do a two-shot, a 50-50. It's just the same two pieces of coverage. Cillian Murphy gets up and walks and comes back. And you realize he doesn't have to do all this coverage. It's just two actors being great. And I'm riveted. My new favorite thing is, even though I have the 4K Blu-ray, I like going on YouTube and just watching clips of these actors act. I haven't felt that way about, like, it's kind of like how I got obsessed with David Fincher's The Social Network. Right. Like I'm obsessed with that movie. The Social Network, The Big Short, and Oppenheimer over the last 10 years have obsessed me, I think, more than any other movies, just looking at the craft of acting and the way that they're made. And unbelievable. I mean, Oppenheimer is an experience. And I think Oppenheimer is going to win Best Picture. There's
so many great actors, but I have to say it was a pleasant surprise to see Josh Hartnett in it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's like so Christopher Nolan went and picked out all of his favorite male actors, because there's a lot of people in that movie that haven't worked very much, and he just went and picked It's like when he picked out William Devane to be the president of the United States in Dark Knight Rises, because he clearly watched the Missiles of October when he was a kid. I'm like, he saw that shit, and that's why he cast William Devane. And he has a thing. He knows what he goes out and he gets all of his favorite actors. And you're right, Connie. I mean, Josh Hartnett. How great was that? Seeing it.
I love.
The last time I saw him, he was in Penny Dreadful, and he was great in Penny Dreadful. But then he was gone for a while.
Underappreciated show, Penny Dreadful.
And I'll tell you something else. He's in a movie that I'm obsessed with that Brandon Boyce wrote. It's a remake called Wicker Park.
Oh, and that's a really good movie.
I for whatever reason, it's one of those movies where I would only catch Wicker Park like on cable for like the first 4 times I saw it, and for whatever reason I saw the same section every time, and I'm like, I love this movie, and I either had to leave or I fell asleep or whatever. Rose Byrne is in it. I love Wicker Park, and Josh Hartnett's the guy in it, and Diane Kruger's in it, and I love that movie. So,
hey Rob, mesh you two together for a minute. I need to use the restroom.
I can't just mesh us together, but I'll.
Just
you
don't
go.
put me on the big screen like you do with Dave. I can't handle
Put her
that.
on the big screen.
You don't want to be on the big screen?
No.
Why not? You're so cute, though. Really? I was going to give you your own
really.
frame.
No, please don't.
What do you mean, no?
Please don't.
All right. Well, I'll ask you this question. Scott Bartholomew asks Dave and Connie, how far back do you go with Rob? Since Dave isn't here, we only go back a few years. 3-4 years now? 4 years?
I want to say at the end of 2019.
Ooh.
Yeah, 4 years. Yeah, I met you because you watched our show. But now we don't hear from you anymore.
I think you know why. I think you know why. I'll say one word: Vegas.
Oh. We had fun, though.
Oh, we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Except you made a video on Instagram about aliens, and your followers called me crazy because I preferred the theatrical cut of Aliens.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, it's okay. You can prefer it. You can, now things have changed.
I really wanted to quote Rob Gordon, High Fidelity, something along the lines of how is it wrong to state a preference?
It's not.
It's not.
As many far left YouTube pundits will tell you.
Yeah,
just my preference, man.
I watched both.
Right, of course.
I did not enjoy Aliens director's cut as much as I enjoyed Alien director's cut.
Right.
So then I watched the theatrical cut, and I liked that more. And this weekend I might watch Covenant.
Ooh.
It's a beautiful movie.
Because Prometheus left me with so many questions.
Yeah, you're not
really upsetting.
You're not going to be happy. Dave, Scott Bartholomew asks, sends in a super chat and wants to know, how far back do we go?
Right to the back.
Don't
all the way to the back.
Don't be cryptic. We never went all the way to the back.
We never went all the way. That's true. 89. I met you at USC.
Oh my God.
I know. We're fucking old. We're a bunch of old people posing as fucking meddlers and shit like that, man.
I was 7.
Yeah,
I moved to the States when I was 7.
Wow.
Yeah, we're old.
You're not that old.
Well, we're young at heart.
We're not that far off now that we're.
It doesn't matter.
Look, once you get to college, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Everybody's the same. Then you can date a girl 30 years younger than you if she's in college.
In geek age, we're good. But yeah, you're right.
Actually, we I'll tell you something. In terms of geek years, I would actually say that the demarcation point is Star Wars. BSW and ASW. And because Star Wars was the in my mind where geekdom became mainstream, and everything after Star Wars, we were geeks before Star Wars. I mean, when I was growing up, we had Go Ape festivals, that all week on KCTW. There's Go Ape.
Yeah, you're a little bit older than me, so
Yeah.
I didn't have Go Ape.
Yeah, but we did, and we had Star Trek, and we had the Planet of the Apes movies, and Godzilla movies, and James Bond movies, and so I was already a geek. But I was 10 years old when Star Wars came out. And what Star Wars did was it changed things, and in the wake, everybody became a fan of science fiction. Everyone loved Star Wars, and in the wake of that, you had Superman the movie come out the next year in '78. In '79, which was a gigantic geek year. You had The Black Hole, you had Star Trek the Motion Picture, you had Dawn of the Dead, you had Phantasm, you had
Phantasm.
oh my God.
Thank you, Kai.
No, I can't look at Christmas ornaments the same anymore.
I know. Well, because they're all going to kill you.
They're all spheres, baby.
All of them.
Yes.
So Efren Guzman, my friend Efren, wants to know, I kid you not, this is what he's saying. We have to answer it because he sent in a super chat. What is everyone's favorite sexual position and why? Dave rules, others drool. Merry Christmas. Shout out to Dolby Atmos. So what's everyone's favorite sexual position? Can I begin and say that but it really
show, Rob.
Well, it really depends. that was a talk radio reference. It really depends on who you're with. You might have a sexual preference, but it takes two to tango. And I think great sex is a give and take kind of a thing. You have to be with a partner, So what might have been a favorite sexual preference with one person isn't necessarily your favorite sexual position with another based on who or what.
Answer the question, Rob.
No, but I'm just saying it's hard. But it's hard. It's hard for me.
But for you personally, you got a favorite.
But I don't. To be honest, I really don't have a because my favorite
every position.
Yeah, I mean, but it's defined by who I'm with. That was my point. It's defined by who I'm with because part of what my whole thing is, what do they like? How can you? Here's the thing. Since you're asking the question, I already know I'm going to climax. I'm a guy. I can blow. I can blow on my finger in climax. I mean, it's
the older you get.
No, that isn't true.
No,
not true. For me, thank God, I need that. But so it really depends on who you're with because who you're with becomes a thing. Like, and what do they like?
Oh my God,
I'm just saying.
I know. I appreciate it. Connie, what's yours?
I'm not answering that. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, it's reverse
Come
cowboy.
on.
It's reverse girl, boy, girl, whatever. I don't know. One of those.
Reverse cow. Okay, that's a good one.
Reverse
but I don't mean to dodge. I don't mean to dodge the question. I don't mean to
I
dodge.
am dodging the question. Sorry.
Right. I don't mean to dodge the question. I mean, but I really think it's up to the person, and it's hard to say
because if you're giving.
I agree with Rob. I do agree with Rob on that.
Yeah. Because everybody's different, everyone's different, and it depends, they're
depends if you're giving it or taking it.
That too, but it also is like when you're with somebody. I mean, it's different. It's tough. I'm just happy to be having sex.
and surprise.
It's all good. Hey, this it's very midnight metal.
Guys, it's midnight metal. There is nothing off topic here.
Nothing off topic. People don't know that yet.
Except pedophilia. We're not. We.
But that's bad.
Yeah,
it's not
that's
good.
Bad.
And we're from Hollywood. You and I are in Hollywood. We have to represent that we're not all adrenochrome drinking pedophiles. We're not.
No, not at all.
No.
Two of us is in sort of a Hollywood.
But you worked in the entertainment business.
I mean, I guess my favorite sexual position depends because it depends on how many people you have in the room.
Nicely done.
That's right.
See, I would.
Why aren't you playing Baldur's Gate 3?
Might I counter that?
You should play Baldur's Gate 3.
You might.
Yeah, I would like to counter that by saying when you when you add a number, when you add a person, it becomes exponentially harder to do your best work. I'm just saying that you know, you got to pride yourself. You got to I'll tell you a funny story. So when I got to USC, I came from the Evergreen State College, and we didn't have fraternities, and I'd never gone through Rush Week, and I transferred into USC as a senior, and so I met this girl in one of my classes, and she's like, "You should pledge." You know, my brother's the president of this fraternity. I don't even remember the name, which it was one of the big fraternities on campus, and so I went through Rush Week because I just wanted to see what it was, and I listened to all these guys just talk mad shit about girls and the way they talked about them. I was so at one point I got so annoyed, and I was in a room and I said, "Excuse me, okay, guys, just stop right here." Now, you guys are all talking about being cock of the walk or whatever, your swagger and all this. You're telling me about all the stuff that you've done with all these girls. And I said, I have a question for you, because this is going to define whether or not I'm going to pledge this fraternity. And I said, would all of those girls say that you were the best lovers they'd ever had? That you could make them come with the practiced touch of your tongue, or you could make sure that they never had better climaxes or more climaxes than with you? And they're all looking at me like I'm fucking crazy. And I'm like, if you can't answer yes to this question, I don't want to walk around campus when people point at me and go that the guys in that fraternity don't know how to fuck.
But the thing is, okay.
And they all looked at me, and I said, and they couldn't answer the question. And they're like, what does it matter? I'm like, I'm out. Can't pledge a frat, dude. Sorry, bro. I mean, I need to know that we're bulletproof, that when you walk out, that the ultimate example, that when it doesn't matter what your academics are, where you're sporting, what I want to know, that girls know that we can make them come. That was how I wanted to join your frat. And this is a true story. And they were not pleased, nor did I think they understand.
Well,
they were not pleased because they don't know how to.
Well, that was the thing. They really honestly didn't, and they didn't know why I even cared. That was the telltale sign. I'm like, look, it's kind of like when you throw a monster party when you're in high school. If you throw a big party do kids throw big parties anymore when their parents are out of town? When you throw a big party, everybody else shows up the next morning.
No, they throw influencer parties now,
I guess. But when we were in high school, you throw a big party, you show up the next day and you clean up. You help the host clean up, make sure the house is spick and span, so when the parents go out of town again, you can throw another party there. You know, you're investing in your future. And I'm like, do people still do that? Because that's what you want to do. You want to be able to go back again. And I would think that would be a guiding philosophy of life. If you hook up with a woman, you want to make sure at the end of the day she says, I'd like to see him again. That's the way you got to leave it.
I think that's universal.
You got it's the campground philosophy.
You hook up with anyone you want to.
Well, yes, I'm sorry. I didn't mean. Pardon me. However, I didn't mean to be
your preference. So that's fine.
Well, you know, like I said, it's a new age. It's a new year.
It's midnight metal. There are no boundaries.
There are no boundaries.
There's no borders. No borders with metal.
Well, there's Alice in Borderland. I like that show.
Let's bring it back because we have I think
we got more. So
we got another guest coming in soon.
Jason Webster. We don't have anybody yet, but Jason Webster says, Robin panelists, what is your favorite film score of 2023? Mine is Naoki Sato's score for Godzilla -1. I love that. It's a great score.
It's a beautiful score. I also love what there's two. There's an artist named Val, V-A, I think it's V-A-L-L-L or V-A-A-A-L.
You mean, or V-A-A-L from the Star Trek episode The Apple? Val?
Well, again, who did Travis Stevenson's movie A Wounded Fawn, which is really really interesting. And then there's another composer, Drum and Lace, who did the score for Cobweb, which is a really great.
I like
is a
that
really
score.
great score.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a really great score.
I mean, I don't know.
I did enjoy Ludwig Göransson's score for Oppenheimer.
Oh my God, it's incredible.
And Rob, just so you know, you do have someone waiting in the room.
Now I do.
Now you do.
It is true.
So we can switch topics and talk even more.
But we can. He's got to have headphones on because I can hear him.
Okay.
I can hear you. I can hear us in his feed.
I definitely recommend people like looking up Drum and Lace and Vol. Those are two really interesting new composers that are doing really different, non-traditional kind of scores.
Oh no!
And to me, talk to me, Rob. You and I have talked about this. The movie Cobweb to me is like kind of the unsung genre movie that came out this year that people sort of really missed on.
I would tend to agree with that. And people keep saying that. Now, Dave, I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a brief break, but I'm going to add a new guest.
Oh, awesome!
Into this our shindig. We have a new guest. We have our new guest. No, don't say he's
an actual special guest compared to.
Well, he's been on before.
Oh, he has been on before. Yes, he has been on before. But I just want to say that this gentleman is kind of legendary, if I dare say so myself.
That's fine.
No, I think he's legendary. So the man that you are about to meet produced Menace to Society. I work with him on. Well, I didn't work with him. We worked on the same show. We worked on Femme Fatales together, directing episodes. This man has directed. He worked with Rusty Cundiff on all 3 Tales from the Hood movies, writing and directing. He's worked on so many different kinds of films. He even directed Deep Blue Sea 2 for Warner Brothers. He's one of my favorite people in the world, even though he's more of a Rams fan than a Seahawks fan. I'm not going to hold that against him. I still like him. What can you can't hold people's preferences against them. That's not fair. But maybe sometimes you can. I don't know. But so I'm about to introduce to this show, to this episode of Midnight Metal. You'll know him. You'll love him. He's Mr. Darren Scott.
Yeah,
Darren Scott. Welcome.
What you're talking about with this whole ram?
Really? You don't? Okay. Sure, dude. Whatever you say. I'm gonna let you guys speak for a minute. I'm gonna go drain the main vein, as it is. So I know maybe TMI, but there you go.
Darren, what's up?
And I was, hey, how's it going, Dave? Connie,
Good.
Nice
Good
to
to
meet
meet you.
you.
Good to meet you.
How you
Happy
doing?
holidays, man.
Been keeping
So-
these guys in check.
We're good. Yeah, she's keeping us in
All right.
check. We've only
not.
We've only derailed
Nobody
just a
has.
little. We've only just derailed just a little bit, but it's all been good and friendly and everything. So it's all good. What's going on? What's new? What's been? Give us your. What's been the favorite of 2023, filmic wise or TV wise that you've been?
Oh wow!
What's been your obsession this year? The thing that you've really gotten into.
Well, a lot of films, good films this year. I'm still excited about Godzilla -1. I thought that was awesome. Genre picture. Gosh, I'm trying to think. What were my favorite things this year? You didn't tell me you were going to ask that question, Dave.
Well,
I feel totally stuck. It'll come to me. I saw a movie the other day that quite blew me away, which was Nicolas Cage in Dream Scenario.
Okay. Now I haven't seen that yet, but I think it just came available like on Hulu. I think maybe. What was it about Dream Scenario that like really did it for you?
His performance and just the idea of everybody dreaming about you, and it was a kind of virality that I thought was amazing. And then, well, I don't want to give away the plot, but the twist and the way things go down for him, it's really good. I would just recommend people to see it. I don't want to tell them what the plot is, but the premise is everybody in the world practically starts dreaming about Nicolas Cage.
Now, did you like what has been called? It came out last year or the year before, the Nicolas Cage movie, the unbearable, the one where he played himself.
The Unbearable Weight.
You know what? I didn't see that.
Yeah, the mass talent one.
Yes, Darren, do you have your microphone on?
I do. Are you having trouble hearing me?
It sounds like we're getting your computer mic and not your actual mic.
That is.
I only have
his computer mic
at this point.
Oh.
I don't have an actual mic yet.
Well, God.
You haven't told me which one I should buy.
Well, okay.
Oh, I could recommend the AKG Lyra podcast mic.
Because Darren's like, yeah, because
or you could get one of these. Oh, you can't see me, so it would be
the Yeti. The Yetis are good.
No, I've got the $400 Sures that I've never hooked up.
Oh yeah, Darren will just drop $400 on the fucking microphone that he barely is going to use. Yeah,
no, you should use it every day. Look, I want to start the Imagination Connoisseurs show, and why not all three of us be on that?
Oh yeah, Darren,
we got to do it.
What's going on? Yeah, tell him about the proposed show, guys. Rob, you and Darren, talk about that a little bit. I've seen some of it, so
has Darren already made it? That show?
No,
I've gotten a taste of it.
Okay, well, so here's the thing. Here's which show? The Darren, the Black. Darren, why don't you tell people what the name of your show is? Confessions of a Black Film Fanatic.
Yes. That's what I'm thinking of starting up. And the main things would be scenes you've never seen. The coolest scenes you've never seen.
Right.
And that's the way I would introduce people to movies that may not be quite so mainstream that everybody has seen them. And,
right.
Introducing them through a key scene that I happen to love. So talking about doing that, but first thing that we're talking about doing is the Imagination Connoisseurs.
Yeah, I mean, I've been talking about doing. Yeah, I've been talking about doing for 6 months. I wanted to, after I left the John Campea show the first time, I wanted to start the Imagination Connoisseurs show, which I still want to do. The problem is finding, I mean, there's people like Temple West, who's a good friend of mine. She, one of the smartest people I know. She's written a couple of vampire novels. I wanted to have her on the show and do a show where we focus on the art of storytelling in all of its myriad forms. And that actually, I want to double.
Really cool.
Yeah, I want to double my efforts in 2024. Look, I think 2024 is going to be a shit show, to be honest. It's going to be politically a shit show. It's going to be, I mean, between what everybody's saying, I think 2024 is going to be a really difficult, crazy, tumultuous year. And I think that what I want this channel to do is share the love. Like the Ewok said, celebrate the love. Yup.
I like that. I like that idea.
And celebrate the love through the art of storytelling and make this channel. I mean, it's already the Imagination Connoisseurs channel, the Post-Geek Singularity, but what is it we love? We love great storytelling. Why do we love great storytelling? Because great storytelling illuminates what it means to be a human being. And it helps us figure out
of human communication.
Yeah, absolutely.
Story.
Absolutely. By the way, Thomas Logan says, Darren, Michael Massey was my godfather. I grew up watching Tales from the Hood and pretty much everything Mike was in. He was a legend. Can you tell us stories about Mike and the Tales from the Hood set?
Well, I would say that Michael was a great guy to work with. He was easy to work with. And I don't have really great stories about him because he was easy to work with. It's the people who are a little trickier to work with that you have great stories about. I will say there was another actor.
Famous actor? I'm going to ask you. Give me a Wings Hauser story, pal.
Oh man, don't do that to me. I love Wings.
Do you know that Wings Hauser did a record? He did an album. He sang like the blues or something.
No, I didn't know that.
I just found that out like last month. That Wings Hauser
was in
did a
Tales
record album
from the Hood because of Vice Squad.
Vice Squad rules.
Gary Sherman. Gary Sherman's
and
Vice
he had
Squad.
One of my favorite actor moments when he lights this lighter in one of his ladies' face and says, "I'm the devil, baby." And I said, "We gotta have that guy."
That's if anyone's interested about Vice Squad, Scream Factory put out Vice Squad. It's probably still available.
Yeah.
If you want to see Los Angeles in the early '80s, like fucking
Vice Squad rocks.
Nasty, rough. It's a rough movie. It's a rough
Hollywood.
movie. Hollywood rough. If you want to see what it was like back then, I highly recommend it. It's like, it's the it's so. It's just
Wings was supposed to be the main villain and be the villain who dies at the end of the episode that Michael's in. And Wings had some issues at the time, which he has totally gotten over, and which I am very proud of him for getting over. But he didn't get over these issues in a week, which was the amount of time we were shooting. So it became a little problematic. And so we switched it because Michael was so good and so easy to work with. And we're going to say, we're killing you last. So.
And Massey was coming off of, I mean, that was the thing. Not to bring up, I mean, but I remember being, luckily, I've known you for this long, Darren, that I was on the set of Tales of the Hood, Tales from the Hood, and Massey did that movie After the Crow, which was kind of a huge traumatic experience for him and everything. But I remember meeting him on that, and he was so nice. And obviously, I didn't talk to him about the Crow. I'm like,
he was a super nice guy.
But I mean, what a great guy, and a great actor. He really was. He
really was. Yeah.
But I think I don't know if the stigma of the Crow hurt his career or not. But such a fine actor, such a really, really good person.
He was.
So yeah, it's definitely there. And I was just kind of like, at that time, I was so obsessed with meeting anyone who was involved, with the Crow. It was tough not to talk to him about it, but again, it was like I'm not gonna be this blunt instrument who like goes, oh, so what was it like? You're like, no, but
I think that was a good decision on your
I think I'm glad I had a little clarity there to go there. But,
I just want to say that we have another super chat that has come in. Actually, it's a $20 tip from.
Wow.
This is a good one, Miss. This is great, Miss 50 and still metal. Says
Is she deadlier than Miss 45?
She's Miss 50. She's got to be.
Yeah, man. That means she packs more of a punch.
At least 5% more of a punch.
Yeah, and I'm sure she knows what she likes.
A little bit more stopping power.
All right, let me read what she says, folks. Let me just She says, "Merry Christmas, Midnight Metal. Happy birthday, Tom. Wonderful to see the beautiful Connie Sang on here too. Rob, Dave, Connie, I had the great opportunity to see Chaosium this summer, thanks to this show, and it was, say it with me now, fucking metal, yeah." Happy 2024 and stay metal. We will.
We're Miss 50.
Miss 50 and still metal. That's the kind of people that we need more of in the world. You know what? Metal people are happy people.
I gotta say, I saw the band for the first time this year. Also, they came to LA. They played the Belasco Theater, which is an amazing theater to see a show.
Thanks for the invite.
Right.
Yeah, Dave. Where? What? Where?
Like you would have traveled that much. It was my thing. It was my thing. I needed this. It was mine. It was mine.
Okay, I understand. Okay, as long as you.
Okay.
But it was so.
It's different now because it was me. I get it. I understand.
The thing is, it was so fucking good. That I literally flew to Vegas the next day and saw them again at the House of Blues.
Very nice.
Got you. I understand.
Did you see? I mean, I don't know. She didn't say where she was coming from, but Miss 50 and still metal. She might have been at the same show you were at, Dave.
It might have been. I don't know, but it was awesome, and I highly recommend it. I'm going to plug this band because I love this band. I love those guys. If you get a chance to see them when they're on tour again, do it. If you're into metal, if you're into it, it's a great show. It's a great show.
It's good.
But I'm curious now. I want to, Rob, if you don't mind, Charlie Unicorn. I'm a super groupie. Yeah, for sure.
I don't mind, Dave.
But I want to change it up a little bit. So before we have a couple other guests that are going to be coming on. But before that, I want to know from each of you, what do you want for Christmas? What do you want for Christmas? And we'll start. Rob, start with you. What if you could have one thing that you wish for Christmas, and then we'll go to Connie, and then we'll end with Darren. What do you really want for Christmas? What do you want for? What would make your year?
You're asking me.
Yeah, we'll start with you, Rob.
Well, okay. I have to say that in terms of like material possessions, do I really need any more? Probably not. I like material possessions. But I've owned or loved. They don't really. I mean, I enjoy them personally, but this is going to seem a little. This is going to seem a little ridiculous for me to say on this show, but my mother, who's 84 years old, is losing her marbles.
Congratulations.
Yeah, she's losing her marbles. And she has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's.
Okay.
I wish that my mother I wish that, and she lives alone, and I wish that she had all of her faculties. I wish that she could have her mental capacity back, because she doesn't want a lot out of this life, but the simple joys of her existence, I wish, and the thing is, this is just what getting older is all about. But if I could have anything, I would like my mom to not be suffering from Alzheimer's. And she's going to be 85 years old in April, and it's not going to get any better, and there's nothing I can do about it. But if I could snap my finger, and if I could give somebody anything, I would give my mom her 100% mental faculties back to her. And in 2024, I have a phone conversation this week, deciding we're going to get her a live-in nurse. Should she moving out of her house would kill her. So I don't know. I mean, I would love my mom to. And by the way, I'm not a mama's boy. I don't have a great relationship. I don't have a bad relationship with my mother. I've never had much of a relationship with my mother, but in her own way, she's been the best mother she could be. And for her life, the things that make her happy are simple, and I wish that she could continue to enjoy them the way she's always enjoyed them, because I don't think she can anymore, and that's what made her happy, and her own happiness is being taken from her by the onset of time, and I wish I could do something about that. I can't, but that's what I would wish for. That's not very metal, but it's the truth.
No, it's very metal. That's very metal.
It's very sweet.
It's very sweet.
It's sweet.
But it's also very. That's wow. Wow. Okay. The rest of us are.
I can't even go next.
But you have to.
I mean, first of all, I'm in this group, and who am I? Like,
you're the Connie.
Yeah, but it's not fair. It's not fair that you say that, because you worked on a lot of great. I mean, I have to say that not everyone has to make a movie. You actually facilitated. You work with a lot of different music groups. You've traveled around the United States. You've been involved in a lot of really interesting programming shows, and you've been involved in the entertainment industry in multiple levels. So you're just as much. You're as valuable as any of us are, and you've done things that we haven't done. So I'd say, welcome, Connie. You absolutely deserve to be here, and you love Pinhead.
That's not his name.
Okay. The lead Cenobite.
Hell Priest.
Hell Priest.
The Hell Priest, yes.
The Hell Priest. That's my preferred name for him. All right.
Is that like a preferred pronoun for people from hell? Because, I don't want to. How would you? Can you misgender a demon? Can't they be all things to all people?
Don't have genders, right?
Well, because in the original story, Pinhead, the lead Cenobite, didn't really have a gender.
I'm sorry.
Which was more of the remake. But anyway, Connie, you have to answer. What do you want for Christmas? If you could have anything.
Anything, God. That's such a big question.
I know.
It doesn't have to be something.
It doesn't have to be It doesn't have to be as profound as Rob.
I wasn't trying to be profound. It's just something that was happening this particular week. My sister.
But following Rob's thing is like,
we're gonna lose
doing karaoke right after Barbra Streisand.
Or
it's really tough to follow that.
Yes, or being the first special guest on tonight's stream.
I want you to do something that's more fun. Yeah, so I can do something that's more fun.
Okay,
exactly.
So it's not something that I want for Christmas, but it's something that I'm very excited for in the new year. Is all of the video games that are coming out.
Yeah.
Okay.
One game that I'm very excited that I will not be playing, but it's very appropriate for this show, is Hideo Kojima's OD game that's going to come out.
Bro.
Because it's a horror game.
Kojima-san.
He's the best guy. He's only announced one collaborator so far, which is Jordan Peele. But there are going to be other collaborators. I'm pretty sure one of them is Ari Aster, because Kojima cannot help himself. He always posts pictures of
Right.
his idols, and he's posted countless images with himself and Ari Aster. I don't know much about the game except for what's been shown at the game award.
Did you like Death Stranding?
Oh yeah,
I'm so excited that there's going to be a Death Stranding movie.
Death Stranding came out at the end of 2019, but I only played it this year, and it's my game of the year because it's so weird, and I just love the fact that I get to see Mads Mikkelsen in a video game. And I love the mechanics in the game. Like, you can't just jump off a cliff and nothing happens. You quite literally die if you jump off a cliff. And it's like a movie. You're playing a movie. And there are people who complain about how long the cutscenes are in this game, but I can seriously rewatch the hour-long ending cutscene of Norman Reedus just sitting in a beach.
Well, I mean,
before he gets rescued by Guillermo del Toro.
But Kojima is, as far as video game creators go, did you ever read Ready Player One?
I watched the movie.
Okay, well, Kojima could be. I mean, I think Hideo. Kojima is like. I mean, for those of you who don't know, he created the Metal Gear Solid series, and he is. Even I mean, I revere him as a creator, and a lot of people, if you start looking into AI. If you go in and start looking at that conversation, and what game is it at the end when the AI is revealed and they have that conversation about what AI really is and what they want? If you look it up, I mean, that guy is on a different level. Kojima is one of the I don't know what to call him, but.
I don't know what to call him. Well, he's such a fan of media. Like, he's such a big film nerd. And he has such an appreciation for all different types of media. Like, he actually has a podcast on Spotify called Brain Structure. And there is a specific episode I recommend folks listen to. And it's actually an episode with the band Churches, who did one of the tracks for Death Stranding. And they actually talk about AI. And he's a genius, but he's just such a fanboy himself. And I think that's what makes him so great. He doesn't take himself too seriously, but he requires and expects that his work is, perfect. And yes, I'm very much excited for his film adaptation of Death Stranding because there's no other studio that could possibly do it right than A24 in my opinion.
Well, Thomas Logan says Hideo and A24, the Death Stranding movie is coming. I mean, and the fact that he's working with Ari Aster and Jordan Peele. I'm not. Look, here's the thing. I think that I would say, to me, Robert Eggers is the star of A24 for me because The Witch. I think The Witch is genius, and
I'm really looking forward to his Nosferatu.
Cannot wait.
Oh, that should be great.
Cannot wait.
That should be great.
Rob, I'm just letting you know there's going to be 2 other people that are jumping into the room in the link for you.
Okay, I will see them when they arrive.
It's a cornucopia of Festivus tonight.
Look, you know what? We're the gift that keeps on giving.
I'm trying.
We'll talk about our favorite sexual positions and Kojima at the same time. It's amazing.
But okay, so we've got that. But let's before we derail.
The virtual
or derez if you're a Tron fan.
That's right. Before that though, Connie, apologies, but Darren, what do you
I
want
want
for Christmas?
Yeah.
Well, I considered world peace. I considered terrible diseases like cancer being finally cured.
Okay.
But I'm not going to go with one of those. What I really want for Christmas right now is for Marvel to announce that Dr. Victor Von Doom will be the main villain in the next phase of I want Avengers Doom Dynasty.
Darren
wants Doom.
I want
Doom. So Darren,
I
are
want
you
Doom for Christmas?
Wait, let me just get
Doom
this
for
straight. Let me be clear on this. Are you saying, just to be clear, that you, a black man, want a white man to supplant another black man as the big bad in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Is that what you're trying to say?
Why does Doom have to be a white man?
They can have a black Doom if they want.
Okay, they could. I'm just asking. I just want to be
How about
clear.
Denzel
I don't want to
Washington
get canceled
as
on
Dr.
Monday
Doom?
morning, Christmas
How about Denzel
morning.
Washington is Dr. Doom.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, I just,
well,
you know.
Look, this is supposed to be fun. Now you're all jumping all over
ship-
me. I'm just trying to be funny.
That ship
Look,
has sailed.
Look, I think Dr. Doom. Look, I think Marvel's Phase 4 and 5 might be the most disappointing thing, especially because, Darren, would you say, as a Marvel Comics fan growing up,
The Doctor can turn it around.
yeah, but we've seen Doom portrayed before, and they didn't get it right.
Poorly.
Right, but here's the thing: wasn't it kind of inevitable that Marvel was going to have a falter point after everything? I mean,
I don't. The falter. What Marvel has done is inexplicable to me. It's inexplicable to me. I think
Their
they have
success or
no. After Endgame, the what they should have done is repeated what they did before. You make a movie like Iron Man. Iron Man was a very personal story about one man's. And what
build up the characters.
And what did they do? They went and told us a Black Widow story, which I liked it. It was a B level.
Black Widow.
I liked Black Widow. It wasn't great.
It would have been fine in that initial phase.
But here's the thing. I mean, you go back and you have to start over and give us these characters. Well, you know, there's other guests that are going to come on this show. People that have actually written things that have endured for quite some time. And he's been on the show before, and I enjoy his social media presence, and I'm happy to bring him on. I've got to do some wrangling to bring the
wrangling in.
And this gentleman.
May I just excuse myself as you bring on?
We could give
more important, wonderful guests.
It's
and
not more
me.
important. It's just different people.
No, they are
different. They're not more important.
100% more important. Than
That is so not true.
But we can give you the break. And then you can just chime in on the chat, and we'll see you there. If that's
we're not going to kick you out. Come on, don't think you're unless you know. Connie's like, please let me go game. Please let me go game.
He's like, please take me out.
Yeah, if we have a gaming stream, I can talk about that all day long. But I will just be in the corner for now, just doing this.
No. No, this gentleman I'm actually a big fan of. I'm a big fan of his social media. He doesn't know that, but I'm a big fan of his social media presence, and I like his work, and it's great to have him back on the show, and I'm trying to get him in as I talk. I'm giving him a different border color because everyone needs a different border color. It doesn't mean anything. I'm just trying to delineate and make it more.
And yet you're not full screen. You give me the full screen. Like, Jesus Christ.
Come on, dude. You're kind, but you're kind of. I mean,
I am midnight metal. So
you kind of are. I mean, it's true. Yeah. I don't know if anyone can see this, but my entire computer just quit. So hang on a second, everybody. I don't know if anyone can see this, but let me go to let me just go down here and reestablish, reconnect to previous session.
Or just take it over.
Wow, you guys all came back.
Well,
are you all there?
Yeah.
We're here. We're here.
In the middle of
I don't know. I can't hear anyone.
Jeff is just a chin.
Why is that? The entire, just so you guys know, the entire stream collapsed. But you're all back now, and I guess you can hear me, but I can't hear any of you.
You can't?
Which is odd. So hold. We'll see. We'll go back to this stream.
He can't hear us?
And make it happen.
Let's talk about it.
So
they can hear us.
I'm gonna, Dave. I'm gonna put something.
Can you guys hear me? Just nod your head if you can hear me.
It's too much metal.
Okay, you can hear me.
Too much metal.
But I can't hear you guys, which is odd. Oh wait.
It's too much metal.
Now I can hear it. Is it okay? Hang on. Let's.
Dave, I'm just putting a quick note in the chat.
Okay.
You.
I guess you guys are all back, right? So, Jeffrey Reddick.
Hey!
Welcome.
Great to see you, Jeff. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I have my phone. I can't see this. I had to flip it backwards because I can't flip the screen. So am I? Can you guys? Am I centered or am I like showing like?
Yeah, I will center you.
And you have decent lighting.
Can you see me? Yeah.
You
okay.
look
Good.
great.
You do look great. You're a very handsome man.
And yet,
it's the ring light and the Vaseline on my face.
And Rob, we still have one more person now waiting in the wings.
I know, but their video wasn't up.
Oh, the video's up now.
He's up.
Okay, well, give me a minute. Give me a minute. I'm trying to put everybody in.
Hey,
First of all,
party. It's like Bill Murray and Scrooge. It's like, hey, oh.
Wait, did Connie disappear?
She was like, I'm out of here.
She's gone.
Is she gone? Is Connie gone? Is that
Connie's gone?
All right, well then I'm going to bring in our next guest. First of all, Jeffrey, you are the man that created not only the Final Destination franchise, but now you've directed your own horror film. Yes?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say no, and that's it. No, yeah, I directed Don't Look Back. It was an indie film. It was my first my directorial debut. So it was exciting and scary and all the stuff that you'd expect it to be, and a great learning experience. I got to work with some great people. So very grateful that I got a chance to do that, and plan on doing it again. Next time it's going to be more.
Just so the people watching, what's it called?
Oh, Don't Look Back.
And where can they find it?
They can find it on, I think it's on Tubi now, or you can buy it if you want to. I think if enough people buy it, I might get a couple of pennies. So that's always nice.
Tubi, the place
but
where
I think it's
we
on
all
Tubi.
go.
I'm pretty sure it's on Tubi at this point.
We're almost all represented on Tubi, aren't we?
Yes.
Which is great.
Just
Jeffrey, do you spell your last name Reddick?
Yeah,
Red Dick. Yes, that's it.
Two dicks.
You wish. Stop it, Dave. Come on now.
I heard somebody ask about what we wanted for Christmas, so
yeah. Jeff, what do you want for Christmas?
I'm sorry, Darren classed the conversation up, and I was listening the whole time, and I'm going right back down in the gutter.
Yay!
It's okay. That's what we're here for.
I'm kidding. It's almost Christmas.
It's okay, because we still have it. We got to talk about. I want to talk a little bit about Darren's thing a little bit. All right, everyone, just off the cuff, who would you cast as Doom right now, if you could? And I've killed everyone. It's gone.
Well, no, Darren. I mean, you brought it up.
A younger Mads Mikkelsen would be great.
Yeah.
But I think he's a little long in the tooth if they want to
continue
stretch it out over years. I don't know. He could possibly still do it. He doesn't look his age, and he's physically imposing. Who else? I'm not sure.
Rob, who would you cast as Doom?
It's a massive decision, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah.
A younger Jeremy Irons, maybe.
Yeah,
Jeremy Irons in Dead Ringers mode.
Can we be realistic though? Like, who would you cast now?
Well, it's Thomas Krenchman, maybe.
Really?
Well, I'm just thinking of. I mean, Doom has got to be somebody. You can't cast the guy from Nip Tuck as Doom. As much as I love Nip Tuck.
And I love that show.
Julian, what's his last name?
Right. Well, because he played Doom. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, so you can't cast him. Okay. Jeff? Who would you cast as Dr. Doom?
Oh, man.
You can cast anyone. Anyone current.
Just because I like him a lot, I think Boyd Holbrook, I like him.
Southern Doom. Okay.
He can do non-Southern. He's from Kentucky, but he don't have to use that accent all the time.
Yeah.
He was great in Logan. He's a good bad guy.
He is good, actually.
I think we should cast. I think we should cast Spooky Dan as.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Spooky Dan.
Cast Spooky Dan.
Spooky Dan.
I haven't seen him in a while.
Well, you know what's funny about whether you're going to see him or not, if you haven't seen him in a while, you know what we can do for you on this show? And that's what this show's all about. This show is all about bringing people together. And Spooky Dan, let me just bring him on.
More metal than any of us.
Spooky Dan, he's directed films. He's supported movies. I mean, if you talk to him about Repo, the Genetic Opera, my God, you will learn more about life than you ever thought you could know. Spooky Dan is one of the great people I know. He's the caretaker of something I gave him that I know he loves more than I could ever love it. So I'm happy he has it. And welcome
He's also a current AI wizard.
A Mid-Journey wizard.
A Mid-Journey wizard. Now
he is indeed.
I'm trying to organize everyone's pictures so they look best. So Jeffrey, don't think I've stopped. I'm going to center you more and all that.
I am currently under Jeff.
Connie is currently under Jeff.
Oh, I thought Connie left.
That's what she said.
He came back.
Connie came back.
I never left.
You were gone.
The irony that you're under Jeff is not lost on a couple of us.
Okay, Connie, don't ever. I know. Give me this is a live show. I'm doing it live. Okay.
We're doing it live. Do it live.
Go live. Who cares if it works or not?
I can also take off too. That's totally fine.
No, Connie, you're not taking off. You're staying
you will
here.
Stay, please.
You can put Connie under my.
Don't worry. Everybody's gonna. Don't
worry.
worry.
Under my chins, it's fine.
Oh no! Don't say that. Come on, we're all getting there. Don't worry. Everyone's. Don't worry. I'm going to make sure that everybody gets back where they need to be. So
Remember, Dave,
wait.
when I said this would be an hour for me.
Yeah, this show is always. It goes on forever. It's like what Miriam Blaylock said, forever and ever.
Yeah.
You know, and people are like, what? Who's Miriam Blaylock? It's kids today.
Go watch The Hunger, guys. You'll be happier. You'll be better people for it.
Will they?
Yes.
Kids today are going to find some reason to complain that The Hunger was somehow it besmirched their identity in some way. I don't know.
Well. Anyway, we're back to Doom.
Doomcast. Okay. Look, there we go. I mean, I'm as I go, I'm changing it all around. Spooky Dan, please explain to the folks who you are. You made a Christmas movie.
Wait, we can't hear him.
We can't hear you. He did make a Christmas movie.
He did. Wait. No, we still can't hear him. This is live.
We can. It's okay. It's like, it's okay.
Nope. We still
can't hear you. It's okay. Just
he'll work on it.
We'll figure it out.
Connie, who would you cast? Why would?
Oh God. I am not in the position to answer that question.
Sure you are.
When it comes to positions, you haven't answered a lot of questions tonight, and I think it's time.
I actually thought about something while we were trying to maneuver the screens. Rob and I have yet to talk about martyrs.
But wait, we can't change the subject right now. We cannot change.
That's all I'm saying. I cannot contribute to the Doctor Doom conversation, but that
Why
was
not?
something I thought about.
Who would you like to see as Doctor Doom? You could say Josh Hartnett. It's okay.
No.
Dr. Doom has to be a man of wealth and taste, as the Rolling Stones say.
In that case, of course, Josh Hartnett.
There you go.
If those were the prerequisites.
The thing is, I mean, I hate to say it, but Mads Mikkelsen in Brian Fuller's Hannibal, he would have been a great. I mean, I love Mads Mikkelsen. He can do no wrong.
I think.
He's awesome.
I'm going to throw one out there. Alexander Skarsgård.
Dude, I'm sorry. I love Alexander Skarsgård, but after the remake, after the Stand miniseries where he played Randall Flagg.
That's not his fault,
bruh.
Yeah, have you seen Infinity Pool? He's good.
He's great. And by the way, I love it.
He was great.
I'm a huge fan of Cronenberg's son. I think Antiviral should be much more well known. And whatchamajigger? What's his the movie he did after that? With what was the movie he did? His second movie about the assassin.
I like the second.
Possessor.
Possessor,
yeah.
That was good. I like Possessor.
And Infinity Pool, that I wish I could have pitched a movie like that to a Hollywood studio and got it made. I love that he made that movie. And
the thing is, Dr. Doom needs to be a kind of a little bit of a younger guy to like grow into the role. I think. You don't want to.
That's why we have AI.
Especially if they're going to keep the order.
God, Dave.
Whoa.
Hot take.
Sorry.
Well, if we have AI to like de-age people and stuff like that, then I'm like going. Then I'll go Denzel Washington. I think he'd be a fucking amazing Doctor Doom.
Well, okay, since you're bringing it up, I mean,
Too old.
But here's the thing, like the first 23 movies of the MCU, and that includes the Incredible Hulk from Universal. When you get to Infinity War and Endgame, those two films are wildly entertaining. I mean, and Endgame is loosey-goosey with its plot mechanics or whatever, but those actors all together. I mean, I love watching the opening of Infinity War where Benedict Cumberbatch goes and gets Tony Stark, and you have Hulk, Doctor Strange, Iron Man, they're all talking. I don't even know why that movie works as well as it does.
Both movies work as well.
They're the most entertaining 5 hours of gobbledygook, and I love those movies. It is astonishing to me, and I do not understand why everything after that, after Spider-Man Far From Home, has been like, it's like they forgot everything that they did for 23 movies that had an average box office gross of $1 billion each.
Do you think
23 movies?
Do you think it's Feige being spread too thin?
No, I don't buy that. Because people talk about it. Look, it's story. It's always story and character. And look, I'm a huge Moon Knight fan. I grew up, I love the Doug Mensch, Bill Sienkiewicz Moon Knight run in the early 80s. When I watched that show, they decided to go with an iteration of Moon Knight from the basically mid-teens, 2015 or whatever.
I agree. It's not Moon Knight the way that you and I...
It's not even a Moon Knight... It's not even a real character. Oscar Isaac was great doing what he was tasked to do. But who is Moon Knight?
Right.
Who is, I mean, the interesting thing about Moon Knight was he was the noir romantic Batman. Batman was never romantic. Moon Knight was the romantic version of Batman. He had multiple identities because he was a cab driver, because he had his nose to the grindstone. He was a rich Stephen Grant, a rich Bruce Wayne character. He was the mercenary Mark Spector, and he was Moon Knight. But he also had a woman he loved, Marlene, his girlfriend, and of course his Man Friday Frenchie. And it was a 40s romantic noir take on Batman. Batman didn't have the romance. I mean, even though they said he was a playboy. And they went to a very later iteration of Moon Knight, which I didn't understand. I'm like, why are you leaning into that Moon Knight iteration when you could go for the total lady killer the Batman if he loved one woman? And they didn't do that. And I was like, why? Why did you lean into this weird... We had Egyptian gods fighting over the pyramids, eating the souls of people on the streets of Cairo. Like, it was a mass casualty event, and no one... I'm like, what is this? How does this fit in with what you're doing? And I just thought it wasn't that he was spread too thin. I'm like, did you read those Moon Knight comics? It baffled me.
Again, we're going down a rabbit hole where we're getting... I still want to get back to the topic of Doom.
So who's Doom, though?
Right. So who is Doom now? Who could really, really fill the Doom shoes? Right
Darren,
now?
weren't you going to say something? Didn't you have a suggestion, or did you say it? I don't think we heard it, or I heard it.
Oh, I had suggested Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh, okay.
Well, if you were 10 years younger.
If you were 10 years younger, that's kind of the challenge there.
But let me ask you this. Why is it... I mean, Mads Mikkelsen is such a great screen presence.
What about Tom Hardy? Being to people.
Yeah,
We're back.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Charlie the Unicorn says R&B needs Connie to build him a real computer.
Maybe. You got $3,000? I can do it.
No, I'm mortgage poor. I have nothing. I have zero. Yeah.
Jeez, I guess I'm gonna order some food.
Well, Dave, what do you think about Dr. Doom?
I said Alexander Skarsgård. I mean, if you're playing behind a mask and you're like looking for a physical presence, I'm saying Skarsgård, or I'm saying Tom Hardy.
What's wrong with Fassbender?
He was Magneto.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but yeah,
that was a while ago.
And the problem with Tom Hardy is he's Venom.
But it's dream casting, so we can dream.
Yeah, that's true.
It is dream casting.
So, well, guys, we got to be more entertaining than
My
this.
choices are Mikkelsen or Fassbender.
Oh, right. I'll just start taking my clothes off.
Oh! You're alive, you know. We're back.
I know. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Hell yeah.
Jeff, no one wants to see that, really.
Sure they do.
Aw,
You don't know that.
that's true. I don't know that.
Woo! Like a CNN reporter here.
In a world.
I'm just glad I'm not full screen anymore. Jeez.
Well, Dave, what do you want for Christmas? I don't think you've answered your own question.
I'll be right back.
Put him on the spot. That's right.
Sweet.
Spooky.
Now we can hear you.
Oh,
Hang on, Spooky. I'll be right back.
He looks great. And he sounds great. What do I want for Christmas? There's a couple things I want, and they're all selfish. They're not as noble as Rob's wish. I want to travel more. I want to do another movie somewhere overseas, and I really, really, really. It sounds so cliche and metal. I really want to work with Chaosium and go back to Switzerland and do something with them this year.
Those are great goals.
That I really want. I really want to work with them and finally get to do something together. Yeah. Oh shit. Spooky will be on screen soon, guys. Hold on. Swag Props is here. Swag Props, who makes the greatest fucking props. He makes replicas of the so many cool things. So awesome. John Hamm as Dr. Doom. I'm sorry. No. Not for me. Ray Fiennes as Dr. Doom. No. No. I don't know. Maybe we don't have. Maybe we're just being too short-sighted. We're not seeing who needs to be Doom right now. But yeah.
Hang on, Spooky's gonna be here in a second.
Spooky will be on in a second. We'll be able to hear him.
Yes,
he's got a background and he looks cooler than any of us. Trust me, guys. Zac Efron, what are you guys smoking?
Hey, Iron Claw, he's buff now.
What about Iron Claw? But still, as Dr. Doom?
No.
He's got a mask on. He's built for it.
He doesn't have a mask on. The Von Erichs never had masks on, Jeff.
They're going to put a mask on him.
They didn't. In the wrestling movie, those guys didn't wear masks.
Oh, no, not in the wrestling movie. But
okay, ladies and gentlemen, Spooky Dan Walker is joining.
Yay!
Sorry
Welcome,
for
Spooky.
the delay, guys.
No, Dan, it's my fault. It's all these technical difficulties. The fact that I'm no longer on the show, but you can hear me. It's fine.
We're all used to seeing you.
Rob was all bragging, going, "I can get."
I know, but it's hard. Look, if I set it up beforehand, it's hard on the fly. But Spooky, I just want to point out that you, in fact, have made a Christmas movie, Sleigh Bells. Tell us about Sleigh Bells.
Like all of you that are on here tonight, my movie is on Tubi. And, I think the one sort of downside of making indie movies nowadays is all your friends see it and they go, oh, good job, or I liked it, or I didn't like it. But in indie world, like, it's so hard to get anyone outside of our own world to know about it. It's really crazy right now. It's just so much noise.
Hey Dan, tell us, bring the audience up to speed. Tell us a little bit about what Sleigh Bells is.
Oh, it's a Christmas horror comedy about 3 YouTubers who hook up with Santa Claus to defeat Krampus.
Okay,
very metal.
That's like the greatest premise ever. Just saying.
It's also on Amazon Prime.
It is on Amazon Prime. It stars Barry Bostwick from Rocky Horror Picture Show as Santa.
And this was
by the way, you guys are talking about who Dr. Doom should be. Is Barry Bostwick too old?
Yes.
Ah, dang it. No, you know what? I do have an answer for that, though. I think none of you will like this, but Sean William Scott.
As Dr. Doom?
William
Really?
Scott.
Stifler. I think somebody who has a comedian of some sort, somebody who's funny, can bring life to that sort, because he's so like Thanos, to give it something different than that.
But Josh Brolin wasn't a comedian.
I gotta tell you, Spooky.
Nobody likes that.
When I think but when I really consider it and think about it, yeah, that's the worst idea I've ever heard. It is the worst idea I've ever heard.
If you guys don't know,
do you remember when we used to go to Toys R Us on Christmas Eve? Do you remember that?
We had that memory. I had that memory today again, along with the show that we did, our first show. I had the memory of me at Toys R Us getting the Friday the 13th Part 5 hockey mask at Toys R Us.
Yeah.
In Burbank, yep.
In Burbank.
We'd go to Timmy Nolan's and get hammered at 2 a.m. We'd go to 24-hour Toys R Us that was open in Burbank.
And we would all shop for ourselves.
That's true, yeah. And the funny thing is I bumped into Spooky today in real life. And what was he doing? Shopping for
myself.
As you should.
And he was like,
his favorite thing.
Don't tell anyone. Just don't.
So
don't
let's
tell
do a
anyone.
live stream.
Well, hang on. I know we're talking. The thing is, I was very curious about Jeffrey's experience as a director. I want to delve into that more. You know, Jeff, I follow you on social media, and you know, you created an enduring horror franchise. But what was it like for you to make the transition to director, and what surprised you the most being now in that role as a writer director?
I think the thing that surprised I don't think anything surprised me because I've been on a lot of the sets of my films and a lot of my friends' sets,
Sure.
so I kind of knew how things were run. I just don't think I was, because I'd been on bigger sets and mine was so indie. I don't think I was prepared for a lot of the. We had a really, really hardworking team, but we had a very small team that wasn't making a lot of money and then was being overworked.
Sure.
And I wasn't, because at certain points I was told, just focus on directing, don't worry about the other stuff. And I'm the kind of person, like, if I see other people like working way more than they should, where they're really exhausted and can, you know what I'm saying? Like, where I feel like it's not
Sure. Yeah, of course.
right, it affects me. So I don't know, you know, if that's something that I can turn off again. You know what I mean? That was because there was just a point where I was so worried about everybody else, and not worried about what if they were doing their jobs, but just worried about some of the people that were some of our crew and some of this and things that I just were like, this isn't right. This needs to happen, and this should be happening, and this should, you know. So that part I wasn't able to turn off. I don't think I want to turn it off. I think obviously going forward, I'll just be more mindful of, you know, making sure that we have either this scalable script that we can do with a very, very tiny crew and not attempt to do a bigger script with a tiny crew.
Right.
You know, make sure the cast and crew are kind of in line with the budget that we have. Because we just took one of my scripts that was written for a much bigger budget that we had budgeted. We had a company that was going to do it for a much bigger budget, and they backed out at the last minute. And then, you know, my producer was like, well, we can do this for, you know, this tiny budget. And I was like, I don't know if we can. He's like, yeah, we can. And it turns out should have just rewritten the script a lot. But at the end of the day, I talked to a lot of my director friends, including Dave, who was, I had many people on my phone tree list, and I tried not to call them too much, but that were there to like talk me through the stuff that was coming up that I wasn't expecting.
Sure.
More like mental stuff and like being affected by certain things that I didn't think would affect me. So I had a lot of good shoulders to like lean on for advice. And
let me jump in with a question here, Jeff.
Let
me jump in. You are a writer, so you're used to working so solitary. You're a nice guy. Everybody knows you're a nice guy in real life, but did you like collaborating with everybody as opposed to being solitary where you're the boss and you control the whole world?
No, yeah, I love collaborating. I mean, I come from a theater background. I mean, I studied theater, and I actually love the collaborative process. A lot of times, when you're working on something, especially when it's like last minute and fast, it was more like there wasn't a lot of collaboration. It was like, just tell us exactly what you need, and then we'll try to go get it. So I didn't get. I expected more collaboration, and this isn't a diss on any of my crew or anything like that. It's just we had such a small time frame, and people were doing 2 or 3 jobs on set, that we didn't have the time to really sit down and collaborate as much as I would have kind of liked to. You know, I always love collaborating because I just think we get so in our own world with our writing, and that's why like I love getting notes from friends, and I'm very good at learning how to process. I've learned how to process notes really well, where I don't take things personally, and I'm like, if anything can make it better, I want to make it better. So that's my goal also going forward. Like, because at the end of the day, my friends were like, you're either going to hate directing or you're not going to hate it, and would be up to doing it again when you're done. And when I got to the finished product, I was like, okay, this isn't the movie I had in my head, but it's still a movie I'm proud of, and I want to do it again, but now I'm going to be better prepared. So I'll have more prep time, and I'll make sure that I'm working in an environment where I get to collaborate more with, because, my thing is, if you bring like a production designer to the table and you bring like special effects and you bring all these different people to the table, as Dave said earlier, I want to work with people who know more than me that are going to help me up my game. And, I want to be able to learn from them as well. So, but yeah, long answer. Yes. I love collaborating.
That's great. I have to say, one of my favorite things about you, Jeff, is watching your Twitter feed, and pretty much about every 2 days, maybe every week, someone sees a truckload full of logs and tags you, which amuses me to no end, because you're always connected to that, even though that's not part one.
Part two, but he came up with
that was
part two.
that. I came up with the opening for that after hiding behind some log trucks in Kentucky, because it was originally going to be a hotel fire. Yeah, so that actually I know people will be like, "Oh, you must get tired of seeing this." I'm like, no, honestly, just as a horror fan, as writers, we all know, like, we don't get much, we don't get much attention or even I would respect, unless you're at a super high level and you're not writing in the horror genre. But the horror fans are respectful. Like, that's why I love working in the genre so much. But writers are usually kind of the last person on the list after the actors and directors, and so it's really cool to think after all these years, like, that is kind of like that's the thing that is Final Destination, is the log truck scene. So and all kudos to Eric Bress and J. Mackie Gruber, who wrote the script. They shared story credit with me, and obviously David Ellis, who's no longer with us, just directed the hell out of that scene. Like, we had the scene and we knew what it was, but we didn't, like, in my outline I had a couple of beats, and then when Eric and Jay wrote the script, they didn't write the whole scene out because they knew that David had a special effects background or stuntman background, and they're like, in the studio, we were all like, he can come up with something better than we could ever imagine. And I think that's one of my favorite top 5 horror openings.
Yeah,
of a movie.
It's spectacular.
And it's because of that group effort. It's that collaboration. It's not because, I came up with a log truck idea, but then David, like, brought it to life with all these other amazing stunt people and special effects people and the actors. So it's a group effort, and it's I love that scene.
By the way, I have a great Stubble McShave, who lives in Sweden, who's been a longtime member of this channel. He is a reader. He reads books. I know it seems, but he has a great taste. He asks a great question. He says, what have been your favorite music surprises of 2023? It could be a new artist or an old artist who has done new great material that was unexpected. For me, it was the Rolling Stones' new album and how good it was. Those octogenarians can still rock out.
Oh, I have a great answer for this.
It can't be Chaosium, just so you know.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not. Dolly Parton's Rockstar.
Fuck
album.
you! Fuck you, Dave. You knew I was going to say that. You knew it.
No, but okay. So we got two guys that please. I mean, I think what's really interesting about, like, what it's called, the Rolling Stones album is called, what's the name of it? Anyway, I want to say it's Hanky Panky, but it's not. But what's really interesting is these guys didn't phone it in, man. I mean, there's some banger songs on that album. So Dolly Parton is in the same boat. I mean, she's been around for decades, and she put out. So what? Tell us, guys, what did you love about what Dolly Parton did this year?
Oh, I love the fact that she, like, she got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and she was like, well, I've never done a rock album, so I'm going to do one. And then when she proceeded to do it, she took her time. She took an entire year, and then she collaborated. She collaborated with Stevie Nicks, and she collaborated with Steve Perry and Steven Tyler and Rob Halford, and she just made this and Wilson and all the Kid Rock, Steven Tyler, Peter Frampton, Joan Jett, her Pink, she just Kevin Cronin, Elton John, Melissa Etheridge. Now I'm reading the list now, so I can do this.
Paul McCartney,
Simon Le Bon. She got Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr together again. It's like, the fuck is this? This is insane. It's an epic album in a weird, crazy way, and it's just like, and then it went right to number one. As soon as it debuted, and
rightfully so.
I'm like, look, if anyone can do it, it's kind of cool that Dolly Parton can do that. It's so
how many nearly 80?
Sorry, Darren. What?
Said how many nearly 80-year-old women would have the courage to come out and perform in a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader outfit?
Yeah.
And try to do a kind of her version of a rock.
That was just incredible to me.
Yeah,
it was like
wow.
It's kind of crazy.
Okay, let me ask my esteemed panel. We now live in a world where Clint Eastwood at 93 is directing Juror Number 12. Ridley Scott, Martin Scorsese in their 80s. Spielberg, in his 70s. I don't know what he's going to do next. But we're seeing a world where creatives are not stopping, they're not retiring, they're not resting on their laurels, and they're creating still vibrant works. Is this the future? I mean,
for all of us 40-year-olds.
Yeah.
I mean, 40. Thank you, Dan.
Dan.
Nice, Dan. You're so nice. 40-year-olds. But I think that's the thing. I think the message to be taken from this, if I can interrupt, and I apologize, is the fact that it's like if your passion is still there, if you're obsessed with it, and sometimes the passion wanes and you have to get it refilled and everything, but if it's there, you never stop. You can't stop.
But our society is so still to this day. Hollywood. Here's the thing I don't understand. Where are the young people in Hollywood? Where is this the wave of what we saw in the 80s with Spike Lee doing She's Gotta Have It, or Soderbergh doing Sex, Lies, and Videotape? We do have a lot of filmmakers.
There's the Daniels. There's
but we can name them all on two hands.
No, but I think there are more than those. Maybe those as filmmakers aren't getting quite the attention maybe the movies are, but there are those people who are coming up. Maybe not. But again,
I hope so.
But again, I think that speaks more to how the industry has changed and how the studio system has changed, and what's being released in theaters when it's all spectacle, more so than.
But the one genre that theatrically has been surviving over the last 5 years is horror. Theatrical horror films. I mean, whether it's a $4.5 million movie like Barbarian, Smile, less than a $20 million spend, over $200 million. The funny thing is the Wall Street thinking, where let's spend $200 million to make $1 billion, is not working.
It's not working.
But what is working is great horror.
Right. And Godzilla fits into that as well.
Question.
Yes, Connie.
For this panel of experts, why do you think that is? why do you think horror has withstand?
It always has because
Awesome.
it appeals to a younger. I think it appeals to a younger audience. It appeals to an audience that doesn't need. It needs a good story. It doesn't need the huge canvas spectacle.
I also think horror filmmakers have. I said that the 21st century is going to be dominated by authenticity. Horror filmmakers are probably, I think, the most authentic of all filmmakers because they believe they're working on a canvas that is what they are supposed to do is scare their audience in an interesting way. And I think horror filmmakers, though, are the most focused and they understand their genre. Everyone else is looking at analytics. A great horror filmmaker, I mean, they know what they're doing. Whether it's a movie I didn't love, but when I bought the Second Sight version on 4K, It Follows, I was like, bruh, that transfer. I didn't love the second half of that movie, but the people that made that, it was like they knew what they were doing with the world they were working in. Horror filmmakers are the most authentic selves, I think, working in Hollywood today. And the audience knows it.
I think the other thing is that I think that the studios that are financing the ones that the mass audience gets to see recognize the fact that it's a low risk. It's still a low risk to them,
but high yield.
But no, exactly. But
you'd think that they'd make rather than make the Marvels a $250 million film that has to gross God only knows. Why not make 10 Barbarians?
Right, and I guess that's my question as someone that is not in this industry and is taking baby steps in watching horror thanks to Dave and Rob is the headline that I always see as just a general audience is like, oh, this movie made X amount of $1 million, but they only got this small budget. And it always seems to be like a surprise, but that always seems to be what's given to the directors and the producers of these movies is this low budget, and the expectation seems to be low because there always seems to be like, oh, this surprise of how much money it's made. But why is that if time and time again it shows that there is success in the audience wanting to see these movies?
I think the studios are always sort of behind that, and I think a perfect example of the past year was Terrifier 2 that did really, really well, and it tapped into something that the audiences wanted that the studios don't understand. And I think it's like whether you like the Terrifier movies or not, what they've done on the grassroots level of promotion and everything else of getting this sort of character out there, and Godzilla goes hand in hand with that too, as far as like the studios would be like, no, it's got to be this huge grand $200 million thing. It's like, well, no, it's not that. It's like, but the studios, they think on such I think their thinking is a little antiquated. I think it's old, and it's proving that it doesn't work. Now, whether the studios come around to that and start look at Prey. It's a great Predator movie. It should have been in the theaters. It would have done well, and it's interesting, and it didn't cost that much. All these things, it's like, you hope that someone is paying attention.
Well,
but again, but now we're seeing again with something like Terrifier 2 that it doesn't have to. You don't have to rely totally on the studios to get a success out of these things, and hopefully, these things are inspiring to all of us.
I think the real problem is, though, that with the Wall Street thinking that exists, they want to make movies that have hundreds of millions of dollars in profit in one big swing. And what I see happening is that you guys are making like 5 or 10 movies a year that are not. You're looking for profits that are insane. But if you look at a movie like Smile, a $20 million spend before marketing. Let's say they spent $50 million on marketing. So you have a $70 million. You have a $70 million. That's what you spent, even though that's probably way too much on marketing. But that movie made $200 million.
And that's kind of a weird anomaly. And whatever it was, whatever you have to like, you also.
But if you look at a lot of the horror titles, like Barbarian, 4.5 million spend on the production, and it made 40 million domestic or whatever. That's a hit. But the studios for Wall Street and for the corporate minders that own these companies, a $20 million profit, they don't care. What they want, the profits that the corporate minders are looking for simply don't exist in the filmmaking world. There's this weird expectation that every movie is going to be Endgame, and that's the outlier. But what you want to do,
it should be the anomaly, and that's where people are going. That's the norm.
But you look at Blumhouse when Lee Wanell made Invisible Man, $8 million spend on the production of that film. It made $100 million. I mean, to me,
Blumhouse. I'm sorry to interrupt, but look at this year with Blumhouse. They spent so much money on the Exorcist movie and getting the rights to it and everything else, and yet then Five Nights at Freddy's comes out and dominates and becomes the most profitable movie ever made.
But here's what I don't understand about the business right now, which is, I mean, having gone through my Tango Shalom being released and playing in Germany it was great. I had a Jewish movie come out in Germany while Israel and Gaza were unfolding. I mean, my God, it was insane. We had German police outside every theater it was playing in. I thought, great, we have a German theatrical release. Be careful what you wish for. But even that, I mean, what I don't understand is why is everyone looking for monster profits when you can play, the slow and steady wins the race. The horror genre, we arguably are seeing some of the greatest horror movies now, genre, whatever you want it, whether it's Happy Death Day or Smile. We might not love it. It's not Exorcist or Rosemary's Baby or whatever. But we are seeing genre films, horror films in particular. There's some really innovative, great work being done. And it's making money. And the studios aren't leaning into it.
They never will. I mean, that's the sad thing. Because I worked...
That's the mindset now, is going for billions.
But what do you think, Jeffrey? I mean, why do you say that?
I worked at New Line Cinema back in the 90s, which was like the heyday of New Line being like, they were one of the trendsetters as far as being like independent-minded. Bob Shea was a film lover. Mike DeLuca was there. Sarah Risher. All these people that love film would take chances on making movies, and they weren't interested in, their first big, huge shot was, was The Lord of the Rings. Like, that was like a crazy thing. But when Warner Brothers bought them, they brought in corporate people, and people from a corporate world think in terms of numbers. And it's like, well, if we need to get the biggest star in the world for this movie, then we need to get the biggest director, and we need to get the biggest writer. But then just in case, we better hire the 5 other biggest writers to rewrite the script. And we see this now as these corporations are publicly owned, so they have to make money to their shareholders. So their shareholders want to be like reading the news and being like, oh, they got Tom Cruise in their new movie. They got what big things are they doing? Like if a publicly owned company is making a bunch of low budget horror films, even though they will make a profit, and you can explain that to them. I was talking to an investor once, and showing them all the statistics about the horror genre and how you don't need names and how much money, and they went back to their investment group, and the woman's like, they can look at the facts, but the facts aren't reading as facts to them. And I'm like, well, how can you get around that if you're looking for those people to like finance your stuff? So the studios, I mean, and they're merging, like now I think Disney and Paramount are talking about merging. So the bigger they get, the more they're going to want to put out these spectacle things because it looks better, I think, to them in their brains if their shareholders are sitting at home going, oh, I own a piece of that company and they're making a movie with like the 10 biggest stars in Hollywood.
But they're looking at something. The $1 billion movies are anomalous in the history of Hollywood. They're chasing something that doesn't exist, and I would say, which I don't get it. I mean, the horror genre of the last couple of years has done very well in terms of return on investment. And wouldn't you want to release 10 movies that cost $20 million that make $200 million rather than 3 movies that cost $200 million and only made $600 million?
Yeah, I mean, I think us as filmmakers know that and creatives know that. It's just, like, it goes back to the conversations we had at when New Line, and this was like decades and decades ago, and New Line was very smart about it. You know, I just had a call with the producer recently that was like, this one horror franchise that we do, it's not very diverse, but like over 50% of the audience is like Black and Latino for this, and I'm like, yeah, you know what, we knew that back at New Line, you know, back in the 90s, like that we did the exit polls, like this isn't like new shocking information. And they were like, their takeaway was like, well, why do you think that is? Do you think maybe minorities like to see white people killed because the movies aren't diverse? I'm like, no, everybody likes genre films, but I think myself personally, like, if I go to see a horror film with like, a mainly Black audience, like they're having a hell of a lot of fun in the theater. Not that white people can't have fun. My mom's white, so I don't want anybody getting all twisted about I'm saying anything about anybody. But Black people will be having fun in that movie theater, and I think you see that with any group, but that's been a constant since the 90s as far as in the biggest markets, the audiences for horror films, were almost 50%, and now it's over 50%. People of color, and then you also had a growing female audience that's been grown exponentially every decade, and then we still keep seeing articles going, is horror back? Is horror, and it's like,
dude, I know
they just don't learn. It's a frustrating thing. So that's why I'm very grateful there are more opportunities for people to get their films out where you don't have to try to rely on the studio system, because everything is about IP.
Yeah, but the studios are losing incredible amounts of money. They're not making money.
They'll just keep losing it.
Losing it. I have to say, I've always told people one of the greatest movie-going experiences I ever had was Friday the 13th Part 3D.
Oh, yeah.
And I went to the Town Cinema in Seattle. I would always go see slasher movies at, let's call it, an urban venue. Because, like you said, the predominantly Black audiences are the best audiences to see horror movies at. And I never understood that until I got into college. And I went for the first time to a Southern Baptist church. And I realized the preacher, the reverend, the call and response. You go to a white Catholic church, no one says fuck all. They're all quiet. You go to a Southern Baptist Black church, it's the Spirit of the Lord is there. People are screaming. They're blowing the roof off the house. And the same experience that I got at a Southern Baptist church, I got at Friday the 13th Part 3D. When an audience, man, people would shout out, don't go in there. Whatever, don't go, no, there. It was the best thing it was the greatest. I mean, you had to be there. But my God, people were standing up and screaming at the screen.
I'm curious, Rob, if we can get everyone to sort of share this, because you bring up a great point there. And I want to know Darren and Spooky, because Spooky's been involved in many like crowd screenings and everything else. What is the greatest, if you can remember, the greatest theater experience with an audience that you've had that's been like the most sort of elated and fun everyone on the who's on here tonight, like what has been like, wow, that was the thing. That was such a great theatrical going experience.
This is just a weird one. You mentioned Repo earlier, Burnett. So
yeah,
when we took Repo on the road with the Darren Bowser,
Spooky, just so let the folks at home explain what that is, because a lot of people might not know.
Repo the Genetic Opera is a horror musical that Darren Bousman of Saw 3 and 4 fame directed. And it was sort of, for a little while, like its own little mini Rocky Horror Picture Show. So everyone was dressing up at all the shows and dancing in the aisles and doing all the callbacks, just like Rocky. So often it would be double features, but we took it on the road, so we actually got to see it. But what was fascinating was, after going to see Rocky Horror in the theater a zillion times as a fan, going to see Repo after it had been out for a month, and people didn't know what to call back. They just shouted at the screen. So I would say Detroit, Michigan, where you couldn't hear what was happening on the screen because everybody was shouting the weirdest callbacks because nothing had stuck yet. So it was just such a fun night of people dancing and having fun and putting on the show for a movie they'd maybe seen 2 or 3 times at that point, and just giving it the full Rocky Horror treatment, like trying to make it be that same night. But it was almost like a concert. And it's happened in multiple cities around the country, but that was one that stands out when you asked. That was a really fun one.
That's great. Darren?
I went to a screening several years ago at the New Beverly. It was a triple bill of Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness. And that crowd went absolutely nuts the entire night. And that was a blast.
That's amazing. I've never seen
many experiences, but that was very. I'm sorry.
I've never seen Evil Dead, the original, on the big screen.
Oh,
that would have been amazing. I've never seen that.
I did at the Coliseum really cool. Theater in downtown Seattle, where I saw Flash Gordon and Roller Coaster and Sense Around.
Jeff, great movie theater experience. More so like the audience trump maybe even the experience, because I have 2 that really stand out.
Do yours first.
Okay, so I have 2, and I think Darren, you were with me with one, which was Independence Day opening night at the Chinese.
Oh, I was there with you. That was awesome.
Oh my God, that was like a concert. I like literally when it after the first attack, and then it goes to the title card January 4th. I think that's the breaking point, if I'm correct. Everyone got everyone got out of their seats and cheered. Like everyone stood up. It was amazing. And the funny thing is, similarly for a really bad movie, still at the Chinese was
remember what the biggest
Steven Seagal movie on Deadly Ground. And people just lost their fucking minds during that movie. It was so much fun. I mean, the movie was the movie. It was not on Deadly Ground. Not a great movie, but they were so into it. It was so much fun in a weird way. That it was like what Dan was saying. It was like being at a concert. Those 2 moments, but Independence Day opening night, people were so pumped for it. It was amazing.
Connie, can I ask you? You and I think the last time I even saw you, the last time I was west of the 405 or the 405 freeway, was when you and I went to see the double feature of Hellraiser and Hellraiser 2.
Oh, so good.
Peter Atkins was there, brought his own print from we saw chef's kiss. That print was so gorgeous. But going to see Hellraiser 1 and 2, I mean, it has been fun meeting you and indoctrinating you into the horror genre. What is it that you look for? Like what like we haven't talked Martyrs yet. I told you. I mean, I made it kind of like this thing, like it's forbidden fruit. Like to me,
we haven't talked about it.
To me, it's like
since I
when
watched it last year.
The show Hot Ones. You know, Martyrs is 9, and a Serbian film is 10. You know, and if that makes any sense to anybody, but we haven't talked about Martyrs yet. I know I made you watch it, but what do you look for, like when you go to the theater? You know, I would say you have pretty impeccable taste in film. The stuff you like's pretty good.
Oh, because we talked about Tar recently.
Hey man, you know what? I'll tell you something.
Here's
the thing: that Bradley Cooper did not deal with Lydia Tarr's tutelage under Leonard Bernstein is just a travesty. There's nothing about Lydia Tarr in Maestro. Can't believe it. He's completely talking about cancel culture. God damn it! But what makes you like float your boat when you go see a horror film?
Well, I mean,
did you like Martyrs?
Of course, this is the question you ask.
Wait, Spooky Dan asked.
Did you like Martyrs?
We haven't talked. Can you like Martyrs? You just have to respect Martyrs.
Yeah. This is not like a 2 thumbs up, fine holiday fun kind of review. To semi quote clueless. I enjoyed Martyrs.
God bless you.
And it was not the remake, right? Was that considered a remake?
No. Don't ever watch the American. Oh my God!
The only Martyrs you should ever watch.
I mean, between Martyrs and Pulse, the remake of Pulse with Kristen, I want to put a gun in my mouth and end my life.
I will say, I think so. I did read a little bit of the reviews on IMDb and other sites before watching the movie, even though I'm sure Rob would never want me to do that. But I did.
We're done.
Sorry. I still needed to know what I was getting into. I had an idea. A lot of people who reviewed the film talked about how the ending scene was so shocking. And I gotta say, the rest of the movie was shocking, and the ending scene was...
right.
I wouldn't say pedestrian, but, you know, I watched Hellraiser. I've seen skinless people before. So that part actually was more fantastical than the rest of the movie. It was watching the girl who was terrorized by her demon mentally that affected me more. It was the moments of, I guess, the head of this cult that, you know, was learning the truth. Those were the moments. It wasn't the end part where they skinned her that affected me. But I really enjoyed the movie.
Well,
you're
okay.
crazy.
That's why I love you. That's why I always love you.
But I will say, I watched Flesh the same year, and I can't ever watch that movie again because for me that was too real. Like ever since I've been on this stream.
Wait, Flesh?
Andy Warhol
with Sebastian Stan.
Oh,
yeah,
right. Yeah.
No, it's not Flesh. It's Fresh.
Fresh.
Is it Fresh?
Oh.
I mean,
Well, it's calling it Flesh is not.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Let's just say prosciutto scene. I stopped eating prosciutto for a solid year. Okay.
I had more.
Yeah. I mean, look. When if my plane goes down in the Andes and we're in the snow and there's nothing to eat,
you're eating some butt.
I am the first. I am the first person to eat ass. Just saying. I'm just saying, man. I have no problem with that.
I guess.
Let me cook it up.
For that, so.
Yeah, I mean, for those who are watching the stream and for those who are in the stream,
if you're into ass.
2 years ago when I reluctantly have been a guest here, I knew nothing about horror. I knew god, I
But you were willing to learn.
Well, I
2 years ago
accidentally
you had-
watched Event Horizon. I
And
was
he made
supposed
you,
to.
Burnett made you jump into Martyrs?
Well,
that was-
no,
that was
no, I warned
after-
her. I did not take her.
after-
To be fair, did I not give you?
Oh,
I
you
would
gave
say
me a lot of lists.
I think I gave you I entered you into.
You
I
gave
would
me so
never
many lists.
do that to anyone. I would never give somebody Martyrs to start out with horror.
Yeah.
Never.
Just so you know, my knowledge of horror was I accidentally watched Event Horizon when I was supposed to have seen Sphere. Oh, it came out around the same time. It was
similar.
For my birthday.
Right one.
It was for my
Sphere is not as
16th
good.
birthday. Okay, it was the same
Sphere's
year I went
not
to
good
see
at
the
all.
Spice Girls at the Forum. My sister accidentally took me to see Event Horizon. I still don't know if I can watch that movie.
The funny thing about Event Horizon is it just needed more Martyrs in it, and then it
Yeah,
might have
sure.
transcended what it was.
And then I also watched Fire in the Sky, which scarred me. I don't think I
That's a
can
good movie.
ever watch that movie.
But it
again.
has one of the great horror moments of all of cinematic
The
history.
shoe? The shoe?
Well, going up into the ship, it's so. But okay,
So-
let me throw this out.
Hold on one second. I want to bring it back to Hellraiser for a second,
Okay,
Rob, if I may.
it's your show, Bear.
Hellraiser 2 came out right around this time. It came out right before Christmas. So I always look at Hellraiser 2 weirdly as a Christmas movie. And so much so that I'm like, oh, I should put that on tonight in 4K
Good.
and watch it.
It looks fantastic, by the way.
You should invite me over and then we can watch it together.
It's a little late, but
I mean, not tonight.
It's noon somewhere in the world. But here's the thing. Okay, let's get back to Hollywood, the business of Hollywood, the mergers of Hollywood.
No, what do people want to hear? I want to hear what the audience wants to hear from this group of people.
All right, guys, I'll read it because we got questions coming in. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
the bullshit business stuff we can. Yeah.
Okay, you guys want to know? We got plenty of stuff. I am going to read what people
are saying.
Wow, yeah, this is so funny. Sheriff Carl, all the way from my hometown of Seattle. KSTW was metal as fuck. Saturdays with KSTW were an absolute staple of growing up. Having any of you heard We Wish You a Metal Xmas?
Yes.
Dio singing God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen
I was
is
just playing this for
I
Rob.
know you were. Was one for the ages. Nice to see the OG team back together. Skull.
I was
just saying.
I was just playing that Dio song for Rob before we went on.
It's true. Let me just see. So Thomas Logan says, oh no, I already did that. Scott Bartholomew says, I sense a visual grand mal coming. Look, I'm sorry for the production problems tonight. It was crazy. I'm sorry.
It's
I don't
live.
think
It's
we've ever had
live. It's live,
people
Gary.
on.
Thomas Logan says awards season ends with Cillian announced as Doom.
No.
I'm just saying. I mean, okay. I'm just saying, and also Mark Spector's Avatar, Moon Knight reference, says Michael Shannon as Doom.
He was
I don't think an American can play Doom. I need a European to play Doom. Somebody. Swag
Europeans
props.
are always playing bad guys.
Yeah, I know. Swag Prop says, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, Rob and friends and everyone in the Post-Geek Singularity. Love from Cal at Swag Props from Malaysia. By the way, for those of you who don't know, Swag Props makes prop recreations from your favorite movies. I discovered him because he made a prop replica of the 9 gates of the Kingdom of Heaven from Roman Polanski's The Ninth Gate.
Oh wow!
I love
It
the
is.
90K.
It is one. His replica. It's right back there. I can't reach it, but it's. He even sent it to me. He made me one. He sent it to me in the same cloth that's in the movie. Swag props. He also made a map from the Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, of going to the Misty Mountains, and if you use black light, it has the same runes. The man is a genius.
Wait. He made a map of Sutter Kane taking the paperbacks and he made
Okay. You bring it up.
So amazing. He made the In the Mouth of Madness hardback book, and then
But he also made the paperback. First of all, here's the thing: what Swag Props did. He made all the paperback covers and then cut them up and made them into the map that you see in the New Line film that Mike DeLuca wrote, the John Carpenter director.
It's absolutely amazing. It's amazing.
Amazing. So go to Swag. It's S''WAK, which means South. Swag Props. Go there. His
Etsy store.
Etsy store is his prop replicas are.
He did a replica of the Labyrinth journal that Jennifer Connelly holds. The Labyrinth book. He has that.
He did Indiana or Sean Connery's Grail Diary.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely, his stuff is incredible.
Astonishing.
For replicas.
It's astonishing.
And John Carpenter, like, in this past month, like, put on, like, for sale, Sutter Kane novels, but you could only get one at $250, and it's just like, but through him, you can get them all for that. You can get the whole set.
Look, Cal at Swag Props, and by the way, the quality of this stuff is, as you know, unbelievable. It's incredible. The fact that somebody, I just love the fact that someone in the world loves the Ninth Gate as much as I do.
I do.
Because
I watched that in the theaters.
It's so good.
It's so good. And by the way, I mean, oh my God, Wojciech Kilar's score. We've lost Wojciech Kilar, but Dracula, Ninth Gate. Oh my God, that man was the John Williams of horror.
No, he wasn't. But
yes, he was.
John Williams,
of course, John Williams did The Fury, and I know he did Badham's Dracula.
And Dracula.
What about Disturbed? Bodies hit the floor. Come on.
Oh yeah, man. That's metal.
That's metal.
That's fucking metal. I
love that Bashara is now the horror guy.
Our friend Bashara is the horror guy.
He is the horror guy.
And he's in the horror and scoring the horror at the same time.
Yeah, that's true.
By the way, my man Bunyan Snipe from the UK says John Hamm as Dr. Doom.
No, he was a terrible Fletch. He's not Doom.
But he's funny, so I would.
That's pretty fucking definitive. I mean, okay.
He was a bad Fletch.
He's been stretching his evil muscles in recent stuff.
Oh, really?
He's on Fargo, and Fargo. He's the villain.
By the way, Juno Temple, what a treasure! My God.
Juno Temple.
I mean, Juno Temple. Oh God, love her.
She's awesome.
Let's bring it back. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have more?
Yeah, Scott Bartholomew. There's a whole Scott Bartholomew says Ralph Fiennes is Doom, and Bunyan Snipe from the UK says Javier Bardem as Doom. Dude, I could get behind Javier Bardem as Doom.
Too old.
What?
Too old. Next.
Wow. Okay, Shogun Orta says, how many movies does the MCU have until Secret Wars? How hard of a pivot will it be to introduce Doctor Doom into the MCU?
They're going to figure it out pretty quick. They're going to have to right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, Secret Wars. The Secret Wars 1 and 2.
Swag Props, as we just sang his praises, Swag Props comes back with this nugget. Amber Heard for a gender swap Dr. Doom. Look, by the way, I love redheads.
No, I'm just Amber Heard. If you were going to do a gender swap.
Well, I don't. Look, if I was going to do a gender swap, I would. Kate Blanchett as fucking Dr. Doom.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly who I was thinking of.
I mean, look,
100%.
Tar might be my favorite movie of the last 20 years. I'm obsessed.
So good.
Really?
Kate,
It's a good movie.
But Kate Blanchett could do Doom.
Dude, Kate Blanchett can do anything. I know people. Well, isn't that a 2 on the nose? She's Galadriel. I'm like, come on, man.
So fine, Tilda. She hasn't been in the Marvel universe yet, except
yes, she has. She's the ancient one.
But fine, that's gone.
No, dude, she's awesome in it. You can't. No, Tilda's no. She's the ancient one. Kate Blanchett as. You know what? People talk about. I don't give a fuck what your sexuality is. I don't care how you identify. Just be good. I don't care. Kate Blanchett, you gender swap Dr. Doom and you make Kate Blanchett Dr. Doom. Fuck.
So she.
Yes.
So Tilda Swinton is the ancient one, but Kate Blanchett
was Hela.
As Hela.
Oh fuck! I forgot. God damn.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Whoops.
Fuck. I mean, come on. Okay, no, shame me. I'm shamed. I'm shamed. You know what? I was too enraptured. I was thinking Lydia Tarr. I was thinking, God damn it.
Lydia Tarr is. Lydia Tarr is great.
By the way, she was great as Hela. You know what? Do you know why? Okay, here's what really sucks. I mean, how did I forget this? I mean, for fuck's sake. Jesus Christ. I got my 12-inch Hot Toys figure right here. I forget. You know what? She can do anything. I will gender swap Dr. Doom until the cows come home and not care.
I'm so glad you shared your dolls with us tonight.
Come on, man.
Why do you have to say it like that?
Come on, man. I got Marlon Brando. I'm rocking Brando here. Come on.
Rock your Brando doll.
I have dolls.
Hey, you know what? Do you know how many dolls I have around me?
Too many.
I've got multiple Robert De Niro and Al Pacino dolls.
Less than Mike Mendez, but more than most of us.
Well, no one has more than Mike Mendez. No one does.
You know, Burnett, I went to Frank & Sons for the first time this week, and there was like a whole booth of Hot Toys, and I just imagined I was like in your office.
Yeah, well, it's
so many.
It's so look, there's only so much. Look, I look at it this way. In 24 years, I'm going to be 84 or 80. In 24 years, I'll be 80.
You never lived that long?
No, I won't because I drink and eat terribly. I mean, I could live longer, but do I really want to? Like, at the end, look, at the end of the day, as long as the dick works, it still works. It's all good. It's all good. But the real thing is, I just want to see good film. Please, people, make great movies. I don't care what genre it is. Don't we all want to see? Cinema is the greatest storytelling medium in the history of humanity. And it, unlike video games that makes the player the protagonist, drama is still important. It still allows the filmmaker to tell you a story. It is the most important, the most dynamic storytelling medium in the history of human existence. And it's not over yet. We need to support great cinema. We have to go see it. And there's no better place to see it in a theater, in a darkened room, on a giant screen with people you don't know. It must survive.
Well, let me ask. let's bring everyone into this. Do we all feel hopeful that we all have that chance to be able to create something really cool in the next couple of years?
Yes.
And whatever different medium, because whether it's film, television, or other creative things, because you know Dan is very much into things that are that's kind of controversial, I guess, with AI, but I look at it as like an incredibly exciting tool for
I'll jump in here, Dave.
for creatives, in a lot of way. And you've worked with a lot of creatives to be able to create lookbooks and all these other to help sell their vision in a way that's kind of cooler than they've been able to.
If you go back in time and you see how things evolve slowly, like from theater to movies to TV, just where we're at with cable to streaming, like everything takes longer than you want. And AI is a new version of this. And what I think is really exciting, especially for people watching this that are into movies, is right now in this moment in time where AI is a little weird, it's a little scary, it's not quite right, it's a little fucked up. It's still just a tool. And ultimately, what's exciting for us right now, people aren't using it as storytelling. They're using it as like make cool images, like ChatGPT to write an email or write a script, but they're not using it for proper storytelling. When it's best, when it's the most effective, is let's say Jeff Reddick, an actual script.
And direct it.
That script. But what I think is so great right now, that's exciting as a filmmaker that's super invested in that world, is you were talking about the movie you made wasn't the same budget. Of course, to tools to make it so it be the budget you want. Godzilla right now, the Godzilla -1, most example, better than Terror. Here's a movie money could be done by any studio right now, but every studio right now wants to spend $250 million. But using these new tools, get rid of. Say, all right. Real things happening, affected by that are a place that we've heard 1,000 times over and over and over again. And I don't want to sidetrack too much, but like I saw, I don't want to single out Aquaman, but that's what I'm talking about. But like, it's so CG that at any point you're like, his head and just of Harrison Ford dragged underneath a car is gone. It's just new fun cartoons, and I feel like we're at this like breaking point, really, where movies are gonna have to change, because all superhero movies have been the same for a long time. Even horror, to some degree, got a little like, okay, here's the same old, and then we get a movie like Talk to Me, and everybody's like, oh, this is great. So every now and again, we get these new things, and to me, the future is blending all the tools that are available to us, and AI being one of the new ones. So I feel like we're right around the corner from grunge happening the way that it grunge in the late 80s, early 90s, when Nirvana hit, and all of a sudden music didn't know what the fuck to do for a year because everything was upside down, that everybody was only paying attention to this one corner. Metal was dead, pop was dead, everything changed. That moment in time is about to happen for us with movies. I don't know what it's going to be that's going to swap it out for everybody, but I feel like you can get 6 more Marvel, DC movies or TV shows, but we know what they're going to be before we press play. And until we change story in a way that makes sense, using whatever tools we can, we're all going to be going, all right, let's press play on the latest season of Loki and hope it's, because it's been good. We like him. He's a great character. But I feel like we're at that snapping point right now. Anyone else?
Well, no, I have to say I don't disagree with you. But at the end of the day, for me, it doesn't matter what genre you're working in. Stories have to be truthful. And I've always said, I say this all the time, that the best fiction is the most truthful fiction. And a lot of people look at me and think I'm crazy. I'm like, look, man, we all live in the real world. We all know what it's like to live in a world dominated by the sun comes up every morning. We have to deal with physics. And I've always said, we live in a world now where people are talking about, well, what about my truth? I'm like, okay, there's no my truth or your truth or the truth, or there's only the truth.
The truth.
And I always say this as my example. If you're on the edge of the Grand Canyon and you step off, gravity is going to take hold of you and you're going to fall and probably die. Now, all of existence should begin with that truth. We now live in a world where everybody wants to have their own truths. That's not what truth is. Truth is a definitive, and here's the thing. I really believe that every human being, it doesn't matter what your gender is, or your sex is, or your preferences are, or your religious affiliation is, or your politics are. I honestly believe that every human being, everybody who's alive, if you're on a beach and you're able on the East Coast and you watch the sun rise, it's like Gordon Gekko in Wall Street when he's talking to Bud Fox on his phone. He's like, I wish you could, he's a fucking asshole. But even he can recognize as the sun rises up above the horizon in the morning in his house in the Hamptons, even he can see beauty. Because there is something that the human experience has that you can't take away from anyone. And we have certain things like watching the sun rise or set, or seeing a baby, a human child. I mean, we are hardwired to want to protect a human being. All truth flows from there. And I think that what storytelling, what movies do, whether a horror movie needs truth almost more than any genre, because if you violate that, people won't go with you. Even Freddy Krueger, they set up a certain logic in the first Nightmare on Elm Street when Johnny Depp got railed up above and thrown around the top of his bedroom and spewed out his churned up body in that another New Line film. 1984.
84.
There was a reality. There was a reality that was created in the Nightmare on Elm Street films. In that first movie, there was a logic that you could believe in it. And even though completely fantasy, it created a reality that you could believe in. And I think that the most important thing about storytelling is you have to make your audience believe the tale that you're telling. And I think a lot of people have forgotten this. And the people that have remembered it are the horror filmmakers, because they've been watching. They understand that if you're going to make a horror creature, you need to make, whether it's Hellraiser, the Cenobites have rules. So does Freddy Krueger. So does all of the great horror figures. They have rules that define them. And that's why you believe. That's why those stories resonate, because the people, the audiences, even though they're flights of fantasy, the audiences believe them because the filmmakers know that the reality of the horror, the reality of the fiction is really important.
Well, Rob, that's beautiful. That's amazing and beautiful. And I think we should wrap this up because it's now 1 a.m. And
all right, then.
I think we should give our esteemed guest, Darren Scott, he had some technical difficulties, so Darren Scott is no longer with us. But guys, thank you so much, all of you, for coming on and dealing with us and putting up with us. And and hanging out with us for this long. It's so great. Everyone who's watching, thank you guys. But seriously, we're on the cusp. We're now December 24th. We're Christmas Eve. What do you guys leave us all with? Inspiring, horrifying, metalifying moment. A little tidbit to end this tonight.
A tidbit of metal.
Tidbit of metal, Christmas metal, whatever you guys want.
Wait, Dave, before they answer, can I just rifle through these really quick comments that people
I'm sorry. We have a few more comments, and then
There's some good ones.
We'll wrap this up. Okay.
Blasian Asian, who's been a fan of this channel, says, "What are your guys' favorite horror movies of the year? Mine is Dark Harvest and When Evil Lurks. Plus, Connie, you are an inspiration."
Ooh.
What?
She gets a little bump the rest of us don't get. All right.
Because I'm Asian.
Who's you?
And
Grant?
Scott Bartholomew says, "Low information writers."
Wait, Rob, we haven't answered the first question.
Okay, well, they're okay. I was gonna.
So, favorite horror movie? Just go.
Horror movies of the year, guys.
Go for it,
Girls,
Rob.
guys.
Start, Rob. You start.
My favorite horror film. You know what I gotta say. I love Flanagan. I know it's a cliche thing to say, but Flanagan series. I really loved his Edgar Allan Poe. I mean, my God, there were so many references.
My God, just say the title and move on.
Okay, well, you just made me forget the title. The Fall of the House of Usher, Dave.
Fall of the House of Usher.
And it was I loved it. I loved it so much. He was having a good time. I think that might be my favorite horror thing of the year.
Okay. Jeffrey?
Barbarian was this year, right?
No.
Fuck me. I really love Cobweb.
There you go. Connie?
I look, I've been busy playing video games all year.
And building a computer, yes, we know.
Yeah, I'm building a computer because it's so technically difficult. So I'm just going to recommend that everybody watch Hellraiser and Phantasm.
Yay!
Dave?
Boy.
Cobweb was my favorite horror thing of this year.
Wow.
For sure. Spooky?
I liked everything everybody mentioned, except Phantasm. But
what? Oh no! Oh my God! How? What? How can you? What the fuck?
No, I agree with everybody's stuff. But I really, really love Talk to Me.
Okay.
It was great. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I do want to watch that, and I feel like I'm prepared to watch it.
It's not that
because
dramatic.
of Dave and Rob.
It's good, Dave. Come on.
It's good. It's good. It is good. It is good.
Yeah.
It's just it was overhyped. Next question.
No, Jeffrey hasn't answered.
No, he did. He
Yeah,
said
Cobweb.
Oh, okay, good. You guys, okay, now Scott Bartholomew says, low information writers for short attention span viewers. Okay.
That's not a question, but
Now,
Say that again?
Now, hang on a second. Shogun Orta says, but what is the real guarantee that a $20 million horror movie will make $200 million?
there is no guarantee.
There is
Nudity.
None.
It's Chinatown. Forget it. It's Chinatown.
By the way, why isn't Chinatown on 4K?
I don't know.
Oh, dude, I don't know either. But no, it's true. And Shogun goes on to say, the real story of Fire in the Sky is supposedly the aliens treated the guy really well, but after they accidentally shot him, still it was traumatic enough. Well, look, I think from a directorial horror standpoint, that Fire in the Sky sequence is a great horror cinematic sequence. It's really well done.
Oh,
It's really well done.
But
I can't watch
aliens were nice until they shot him.
I can't watch
That
it.
makes it all better.
Yeah, well, now the final
I'd
thing.
rather watch Martyrs again than Fire in the Sky.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's why I love you, Connie.
Woo!
You're the girl that got away. Scott Bartholomew says Ren Schmidt is still hot. Ren Schmidt plays Margot on For All Mankind, my favorite streaming show now, and they've aged her into her 60s. The old age makeup is great. Yeah, it's great. I love her. God damn it,
Wait,
Scott.
how old were they in season 3?
Oh my God.
Well, they were 10 years. In season 3, they were in their early 90s. Season 4 is 2003. Every season jumps ahead 10 years.
So she's been in Russia for 10 years.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's so sad.
Okay.
Well, kids,
Binging that.
you got to do it.
Wait. I got to share a little last metal thing before you wrap it up, Rob.
Okay, well, can I leave it up to you? And hang on, Dave. I'm gonna bring you on full screen, and I want you, okay, to deal with it. I'll be right back.
Oh, he's gotta use the Wizard. His favorite Marvel villain, the Wizard. All right, guys. Tangent to metal, we had a monumental thing happen last month. Last month, Kiss ended. They did their final show at Madison Square Garden. It was actually really something that I saw. I don't know if people here watched it, cared. But I did. I've been following Kiss since my childhood, since very, very young. And I watched their final show at Madison Square Garden. And it was I saw it with Spooky and my friend Adam Green. And it was an incredibly emotional, incredible fucking experience that I would guess that they'll put out somewhere. If you haven't seen it, if you care about metal, if you care about hard rock, if you care about rock and roll, it's kind of a monumental thing, even though they came out with, at the very end of it, avatars saying that Kiss will continue. And that was one of my favorite experiences of the year. People who love their bands and get to see them till the very end and doing their thing is kind of a special thing. And that was one of the, strangely, with doing movies and everything else and getting the opportunities I had this year, that was one of them. And I just think that's really awesome. And go watch Hellraiser 2 because it's a Christmas movie.
Hell,
it is
yeah.
kind of
so
look, watch 1 through 8.
No,
don't do that. Don't.
Yeah, I did it for Doug Bradley.
Yeah, well, there you go. Doug Bradley does a beautiful, I think, rendition of Christmas Carol or something, probably on his live stream.
Yeah, he
reads. You can look up.
I want to thank everybody on this. Now it's Christmas Eve. It's Christmas Eve, and you don't have to be afraid. I want to thank Jeffrey Reddick. I want to thank Spooky Dan. I want to thank Connie Sang. I want to thank Darren Scott. Most of all, not that you're better than anyone else, but it's great to have Dave Parker come back to Midnight Metal.
We're back.
Thank
We're
you
back,
so
baby.
much.
We might be back.
I think 2024 needs Midnight Metal. I think we need people that unapologetically talk about sex, horror, and the new gods. We need to go all Frankie Goes to Hollywood, or as I said earlier,
or Jack Kirby
in the stream, little Trevor Horn, everything that Zang Tum Tum produced. I mean, I'm a big fan. What can I say? Let's do that. Let's talk sex and horror on a nightly or a weekly basis. Because God knows the generation we have now
We just need
needs
to get
sex and
nasty.
horror.
We need 2024 needs to get naughty and nasty.
Yeah, like none of this whole like don't touch me. I mean, we you know what we have to get as Clive Barker wrote in his seminal 6-volume Books of Blood. We are all books of blood.
Books of blood.
Because whenever we're opened, we're wet.
We're red. But thank you guys for allowing me. Thank Rob. Thank you for allowing me to come back and do this. And I hope everyone has an amazing holiday. And I'm so thankful for everyone who stuck around watching and our guests. And thank you guys so much. Really,
Jeffrey,
really appreciate it.
Where can people see your movie?
Tubi. You can find
And
it on Tubi.
what is it called?
Oh, Don't Look Back.
Don't Look Back. Not the Bob Dylan album. But
no.
And Spooky Dan.
That would be metal.
That would be metal. Spooky Dan, Sleigh Bells. You made a Christmas movie that fits. Yeah. That's also very metal. Where can people see that?
You can see that on Amazon Prime and on Tubi.
All right.
I think but that's where.
Now, Connie, people can't see your movie, but
I have no movies. I did make a movie in like English class in high school, but it's only on VHS.
I can't wait to watch.
But it doesn't matter. I would ask you, if you haven't made a movie, give some recommendations. What are some of the films that you think people should watch this holiday season, beginning with Hellraiser 2?
I mean, Hellraiser 1 through 8, honestly, I'm not even joking. I'm kind of joking. It's not a movie, but I do have a song that I recommend everyone listen to, and it's so metal. It's from a video game that came out in 1997 called Saga Frontier.
Wow. Okay. What's
Look up Battle Number 5. It is so metal for a video game that came out in 1997.
Okay, that might be the best recommendation you're going to get for 2024.
And if you want, I'm going to say, if you want a really fun movie that takes place at Christmas, there's so many movies that take place at Christmas that are not your normal Christmas movie and stuff like that. If you've never seen Night of the Comet by Tom Eberhardt.
Yes. Thank you for your recommendation. I love that movie.
By the way, Scream Factory out in 4K.
4K on Scream Factory. It's on Tubi. So much fun. It's a blast of a movie. Look at Dan. He hates it.
Dave isn't crazy. Dave is an e-ticket attraction.
That's the movie that Dave recommended me as my entry into horror.
Wow. I saw that theatrically, just so you know, in 1984?
I did too.
Yeah.
And Night of the Comet, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you can have Kelly on for your next Midnight Metal.
That would be amazing.
By the way, I love her. I met her once. We went to that Crypt magazine thing?
Crypt TV?
No, Crypt. It was a Crypt magazine thing, and that's when I met her for the very first and only time. I loved her to death.
Oh, we see her all the time.
Oh, yeah. She's a sweetheart.
She's super sweetheart. But
love her.
Again, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Happy holidays. I hope you all have a really, really great Christmas or holiday, whatever you celebrate. If you don't, but be with people, be with the people you love, surround yourself with the shit that you love, movies, whatever it is, you have this break that everyone's doing. Just enjoy it. Rob, again, thank you so much.
Dave, thank you. Thank you all for being here. It was so awesome. And remember, Anton LaVey's Church of Satan says Satan represents love for those who deserve it, not love wasted on ingrates. Just kidding. Although he said that. Look, I would like to end this by saying, look, I am so happy and proud and all the people that support this channel, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. All the people that requested Dave Parker to come back to Midnight Metal. Here we are. We're back here, and Dave provided a great cast of characters, a great bunch of talented people. Thank you to Dave Parker, and thank you to Jeffrey. Thank you to Spooky Dan. Thank you to Darren. Thank you to Connie Sang. It's so great to know you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much. And we will see you all in the new year.
2024.
Oh, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be, wow, amazing. But you know what? Creativity never dies. And everybody here represents that spirit. And on that note, Meli Kalikimaka, which is Merry Christmas in Hawaiian. Good night.